Years, you've trusted my leadership at the Walton County Sheriff's Office. In that time, UCR crime rates have dropped 67%. That's no coincidence. You can count on me to serve with continued professionalism and provide the excellent hometown service you want. At our agency, excellence matters, as our law enforcement, fire rescue, and animal services are the first on scene. On Tuesday, August 20th, vote to re-elect Atkinson for Walton County Sheriff.
Paid for by Michael Atkinson Jr., Republican, for sheriff.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Signworks, a business serving businesses since 1985. Everything from signs and banners, vehicles and boats, magnetic and real estate signs, contractor signs, and much more. Signworks can do large format, full color printing too. Signworks, a real professional in the business world. Call Signworks at 785-8899. Signworks, 850-785-8899.
You owe the IRS back taxes, and dealing with the IRS stresses you out. Fortunately, IRS Problem Relief can help you resolve back taxes and represent you to the IRS so you don't have to face them alone. Last year, IRS Problem Relief saved clients drowning in tax debt. And IRS Problem Relief is a local company right here in Panama City, not some 800 number where you can never talk to the same person twice. Put those problems behind you so you can focus on moving forward. Call Edward Corey with IRS Problem Relief, 850-784-8176. For a free consultation, call Edward Corey with IRS Problem Relief. It's 850-784-8176 or visit irsproblemrelief.com.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Let's go.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
How are you not freaking out right now?
Good to the last drop flavor.
There's no need to fear.
The Underdogs are here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's going on, Northwest Florida? You are now riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're tuned into ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Want to remind you guys that we are your home for the Auburn Tigers, and this season ESPN Northwest Florida is going to be bringing you every single game, so you ain't going to miss a single touchdown nor sack and not even an interception, as long as you're listening, that is. Join us for kickoff on the Plains. That's not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, August 31st. They're going to be taking on the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M on your number one destination for college football and the Auburn Tigers, ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop and Caveman Rick. Tangent Tuesday with Tyler's. We are going to have Max Delight in the building with us. Per usual, he's going to be a little bit late. He's got a lot of unread text messages. He's got a lot of work to kind of catch up on. He was working remotely, but you know how it goes. Just because you're working remotely, there's still a lot of things that once you get back centrally located that you got to catch up on. So Max will be with us. But Tyler, how's everything been with you, man?
Man, it's a beautiful Tuesday. Went out and played a little golf this morning. Didn't play too.
Did you? Where'd you play at?
Went out Sunny Hills. Up in
All right. What'd we shoot?
92.
92 ain't bad, bro. Breaking 100 is the goal. How many mullies? One mulligan? You play 1 per 18? Sometimes I'll play 1 per 9.
It depends on who I'm playing with.
There you go.
A lot of times we'll play 1 through 9, or 1 and 9. The guy I was playing with, he doesn't play a whole lot, so I didn't.
Yeah, there you go.
So we both took 1.
Y'all spent more time trying to chase his ball around, huh?
I had a couple of nice birdies, so I hadn't played in probably 6 months because the heat's been so crazy. But so not too bad for getting back out there shaking off the rust.
I love playing golf, but I'm right there with you, man. When you get to like this time, it's starting to cool off a little bit, but once you hit after July 4th, it's like, all right, I'm done. Hang it up. I normally only play about 3 times a year. There was some times in my life, some of those, even throughout the summer, like I'd be playing a ton, especially back in the day when we had Bay Dunes, man. I'd be out there all the time, like $20-$25 for 18. Yeah. Okay, I'm with it, bro. But it kind of feels like Christmas though right now, right?
Oh, I know. We got college football. I mean, mostly real college football. It's ACC football, so it doesn't really. We got a top 25, top 10, depending on the poll, playing this weekend. A scrappy Georgia Tech team playing. So
Max.
SMU plays and Vandy plays. And so we got a couple teams playing this week.
Just in time to throw some shade FSU's way, baby.
Got his sunshades and all. Max delighting in the building with us for the first time.
Legend.
It feels like it's been the first time since 2023.
Great to be here.
What's up, bro? How was Chicago, Wisconsin, and the rest of the Midwest?
It was a good time, minus seeing Packers fans.
Oh, man.
That's like the one slight I have against Wisconsin, and how some people vote down in the southern cities. But of Wisconsin, not down here.
Yeah, gotcha.
In Madison and Milwaukee. But it was good, man. Getting out of the heat, it was great. I did not miss the heat. I missed you guys, being down here. Like, I love the community down here, but being able to be like near the lake and just like not have humidity and it be mid 70s, low 80s.
Jealous, man.
It was a good way to, have your day. Like, I would swim like a mile in the lake in the morning. It was nice.
Oh, that's a good way to keep the exercise going. Instead of being CrossFit, you were liquid fit.
Exactly. And being and being just like in like a fresh body of water up there, you don't have to worry about crocodiles and stuff because you're the biggest thing. So
yeah. Oh
man, I'm always the big.
It's their choice. No water moccasins or nothing. Moccasins, nothing like that. Any? Did y'all do any catfish noodling?
No, that's like a Louisiana thing.
Hey, you got to bring the South to the North sometime, man.
Yeah, there you go. Like, people see you over there, you're like looking under trees and stuff like that, sticking your hands in there. People's like, what's wrong with you? I'm from Florida. It's not even legal it's not legal here in Florida. I found that out yesterday because I don't
It's such
know.
a dumb thing to be illegal. Like, dude, catfish, who cares?
I don't know why it's
What's
not
the
illegal.
difference in like catching a catfish?
It is legal in Alabama.
Catfish are like the rats of the water.
It's probably just because we're the fishing capital of the world. You have to have a license. They're trying to make every dollar and cent that they can off of stuff like that. So if they can find a way to make it where like you have to have a license,
yeah, but you have to have a
that's
fishing license. But like, I don't know, why does it matter how you're catching the fish at that point?
because with a fishing license, you can't go out there and you can't I think like bow fish. I think you have to have a special thing for that. Like I said, it's just all the red tape.
Yeah.
They try to come up with any way they can make money.
Do you have to have a special license to spearfish? Because I broke that law.
You might have to in certain places. I know you do. Like I think when I lived in Missouri, if you wanted to do the bow fishing, I think you need to have like a certain stamp or a certain tag like on your fishing license to be able to do that. The same way, like if you want to, say you want to keep a tarpon. Like, you have to keep them in the water, but, like, trophies are kind of gone by the wayside nowadays. People can make the replicas.
Yeah.
But you have to have a tag. It's the same like you have to have, like, a deer tag to possess, like, a buck. You know what I'm saying? In possession.
Right. That makes sense.
So it's probably, like, the same kind of thing, I'd imagine.
All right. So it's legalized Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Illinois, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wisconsin.
Hey, man.
So I guess they do it up there.
Give me DeSantis on the phone. What's going on with this?
I'm assuming that the reason why is because it's dangerous. At least that's why it's illegal in California, which doesn't make sense because there's a lot of things that are legalized over there in California that I don't know would necessarily be safe for your bodies, but that's neither here nor there. Great to have the full cast back with us here on a Tuesday. Coming up next is going to be your Minute with Max, then we'll dive into a little trivia. And I've got it's going to be college football for the rest of the day. We'll pick some of those games. We're not going to start our picks until week 1. Go ahead.
I love this season because I know out of this room, and Rick included too, I'm probably the least knowledgeable, but I get so much knowledge from you guys. And you guys are both like very level-headed fans of your fan base.
Yeah.
Except back in the day, I know you and I would have like a few beverages and argue if Alabama should be in or not. Like our Big Ten SEC.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it'd be like 11:30 at night. We're either up or down a little bit on whatever books we're using. I'm like, dude,
whatever.
You guys couldn't make a
books
kick
are
against Tennessee. Like, come on. Like,
Hey, but
but now Hard Rock, it brings us all together.
I'm a lot more like with my buddies and stuff like that. I'm a lot more electric, if you will, whenever it comes. Especially if I feel like someone's got a crazy take or something like that. It's like, all right, now I'm attacking.
It's like Barrett on a Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I love, like, I don't even always have to agree with the side I'm arguing. As long as I know I can argue it, I'll argue it just to make somebody else mad. Like, it's just a little,
right.
But that's always a good time.
But when it comes to being on air and everything, I got to keep it as fair as possible, and I enjoy I leave that for the fans to kind of, or for anyone calling in and stuff to go hammer. If you
I think
will.
I know he gets accused of it sometimes, but I think that's what makes someone like Kirk Herbstreit great. Like he's a huge Ohio State fan, but he keeps it at bay for the most part.
Yeah,
he's on there, I would say at least.
Yeah, but the Ohio State fan base doesn't really adore him as much as you think they would, though.
Because
either though,
because he doesn't go out of his way.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but
I think the Alabama fan base is going to adore Nick Saban this year. If we could take anything from SEC media days,
we. Like he's
like a French man.
Well, he does still have an office on campus.
Oh,
correct?
yeah.
In the building.
Yeah,
he is awesome.
Yeah,
the stuff in Hard Knocks is so he just sees the world so much better.
I mean, that's like you having a bedroom at somebody's house.
What's that?
It's like having a bedroom at somebody else's house. I mean, like, you got to feel like you live there, right? I got a bedroom.
I mean, it's kind of like that. Like, hey, somebody just replaced you, but I still got to keep a bedroom in the attic. Like, no big deal.
Or like when kids go off to college or whatever, and then they go back to mom and dad's house, and they still got the bedroom. Yeah.
You go back to your fraternity and you just point at your pledge picture or whatever.
I think. Were you in a fraternity?
No, I was not.
Were you in a fraternity?
No.
Teach us your ways, Max. You're the only one. It's okay though. Like we're looking up to you right
trying
now.
To be a part of the analogy.
I know. No, you killed it though. You crushed it with the analogy though, because that is a great.
Let
one.
me ask a quick question then. Like I've seen in movies and stuff. All right, so you're part of this fraternity right now, and you got your brotherhood.
Here we go.
No. This is straight up. Okay.
Are we going hazing here?
No. Okay. So you went to school in Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a frat house there. Now, say if the same fraternity has a frat house, say someplace like in SoCal, you could show up to that frat house, do the handshake, say whatever you got to say, and they take you in. Now you got a place to say, people to chill and party with because it's still like brotherhood and whatever, and they still kind of take you in as like one of their own because even though you went to school in Indiana, you're still part of the fraternity, the brotherhood.
Funny. Like I did that at Bama once just because I wanted to see what the house was like and get some free beer because I was
that's what I'm saying.
College, or if you're like in college and get, but I mean they
take advantage.
They were cool. Like it's like IU, blah blah. Guy talk. Guys are great.
So it does work.
Guys are great.
Dudes
are so simple sometimes.
Dude, here's a beer. Let's play beer pong. Yeah, like I mean, we didn't really.
Hell yeah.
A lot of the bigger schools, especially, I don't think get into code or culty like
here I'll give you the number to my dealer.
Maybe the girls do. Like I know you see all those TikToks now of it's insane what sorority TikTok is in the SEC. But I think dudes are oh, you're in there, cool. Well, right on. Let's have a beer.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know.
It depends where you catch some. I mean, maybe you get some hardo, but if you're
that should be.
I think it's cool.
It's kind of like being a Freemason.
Yeah.
Or something
Illuminati,
same kind of thing. It's like a society, a club or whatever, and just wherever you go, if you meet them, you're supposed to give them the same respect, right?
Yeah, and you get good hospitality and free beer. So
hey, hospitality and free beer. I don't think you can go anywhere wrong with that.
And at Bama, all the Greek houses are right near the stadium, so it's perfect.
Really?
If you walk off the fields a little bit,
I want to go to a game with you one time, and I'll just lie and be like, I was right there with them, same class
2018.
2018.
Brother Max over here.
Brother Max. We would always do that jokingly on campus too. We see one of your buddies he's brother.
All right, it's
just
what's up, brother?
Elder Max.
End of an era.
Oh man, that one. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think he's still kind of going. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just tougher.
Braves Phillies tonight, right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coverage starting at 6 o'clock. First pitch tonight, 6:20. Zach Wheeler going for the Phillies, and Reynaldo Lopez is back from the IL, and he will be making his start tonight. And recent news, Austin Riley goes down with a fractured hand, and he'll be out for 6 to 8 weeks. And so, what do the Braves do? Go get another veteran who's been DFA'd by the Detroit Tigers, and that is Gio Urshela.
Yep, never go full Gio.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out for him, though. They got to have someone to kind of to take that spot up, or at least have another man on the roster. So we'll see how he works out. But the Braves, I mean, this is a big time series for the Braves. You could either fall back 3 games, obviously you can split the series. Who knows what'll end up happening? But if you win 3, you're down by 4 in the National League East, and you can increase your lead in the wild card. If you get swept, you're down by 10 in the National League East, and you could fall out of that 3rd and final wild card spot. So keep it locked in here to ESPN Northwest Florida as the Atlanta Braves will be hosting the Philadelphia Phillies this evening.
A lot of injuries lately. A lot of teams kind of limping in.
Yeah, the Braves. I mean, is it fair to say that the Braves have been the most injured team? I know the Dodgers have dealt with a lot.
I mean, they just living a day in the life of Frank the Tank.
That's true.
Dude,
how about him? Yeah,
first time wearing an XL since 1984.
I saw that today, man. He's lost a lot of weight, man. Good for Frank Fleming, Frank the Tank.
It goes to show too. If you're like that obese ever, like if you walk, literally just walk.
Yeah.
You burn so much weight. Like,
yeah.
You should, you're literally being the laziest person on earth if you can't walk like a mile.
Walking is one of my favorite things to do.
It's good to clear your head.
Yeah.
Lowers anxiety and loses weight.
Now, it definitely did. I mean, it takes a lot, though, during these summer months to just get out there and just go walking because it feels like you just went swimming in the ocean at that point, getting some liquid fit on.
Yeah, that's true. Dude, I just, the Austin Riley one hurt me too because I'm in a fantasy baseball league that I'm like, it's my league that I care the most about.
Yeah.
If I win, I'm like squared up to, pay the mortgage for a month. Like, I'm like, okay, here we go.
There we go.
14-3, but everyone and their mother's getting hurt on my team. So
you're like the Atlanta Braves right now yourself.
And it's a dynasty, so I had like Tatis, Riley, Trout, Yelich, Merrill Kelly, Kodai Senga, Jordan Westberg, everyone going down. I'm like, dude, I'm 14-3. The next closest team has like 9 wins. I'm like, come on.
Oh boy.
So I'm gonna be like a fraud 1 seed now.
Hey, there you go.
Barrett Townsend in our ESPN league.
Oh boy. Here we go. Here we go. By the way, we do got a little NFL pick'em going on. It's not through the station by any stretch. So if you'd like to join an NFL pick'em, there's a little bit of dollar bills on the line. It's essentially just $20 for the entire year, but just go to my Facebook, add me as a friend on Facebook, and David Hayes on Facebook, and we'll get you put in there. Yeah. It's just $20 for the entire season.
Same for you guys. I was going to tell the Tuesday crew if you guys want to join the college football spreads one, Cotton Club.
Yeah. The Cotton Club.
No, it's because like Georgia was in the Cotton Bowl the year they made it.
Oh,
and it's like a ton of guys who are Georgia and Bama fans. So it's a lot of SEC spreads, which
it spreads
irks me. Yeah, it spreads, but it's like an office football pool, the classic.
Gotcha.
And it's low buy-in and it's fun because like there's weekly winner and it makes you care.
Max always goes by the spreads.
Yeah,
that's how he was doing the list like last year and the year before.
Yeah, he was like, we were picking it up and he was picking the.
Yeah, I was like, wait, dude, I'm getting smoked.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you don't pay attention to the rules.
That's right. It's like the teacher that puts on the top of the paper, or like when you're a kid, like do not answer any of these questions is the first thing, and then all people are answering it, turning it in, get them all wrong.
That's me.
Didn't follow directions.
Oh man. I guess you don't got to when you're in a fraternity.
Be in it, that would be fun to just kind of have a little banter too.
That'd be dope.
It makes you care once in a while about like Boise State versus whoever. If that's like the last game and you could win for the week, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, how about Boise State? Malachi Nelson, former 5-star quarterback, was at USC, transfers over to Boise State and does not win the job over there. Maddox Manson is going to be the starting quarterback of Boise State. Yeah, there's a Miller Moss over there at USC. There's a bunch of M&Ms out there, man, a bunch of Slim Shadys playing quarterback. But what do you think about that? Is the rating process in high school football headed to college football, is that shot, or is it just something that the level from high school football to college football is just it's a different beast?
I mean, it's a different beast, obviously. I mean, you see it in the NFL draft. I mean, there's a reason why they're busts. There's a reason why they're gyms. That guys. There's a reason why guys like Puka Nacua go in the 5th round when they outperform almost everybody in their class. Anybody like the star rankings matter as a whole. Like, obviously, like 55 stars are going to be better than 53 stars, but that doesn't mean like a 5-star guaranteed to be better than 3-star. People want to take them really literally, like, oh, this guy's a 5-star, he better be good. And, like, it happens and it doesn't. Right. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, even DJ Uiagalelei, he was a 5-star coming out. He hasn't performed up to that level. JT Daniels was a 5-star coming out. He never really reached that potential. You see it all the times with quarterbacks, and just like you see first-round busts. But like I said, you want more blue-chip guys than not. But it doesn't mean that it's guaranteed by any means, and I think that's where a lot of the people get kind of misunderstood. Like you get the whole stars don't matter. No, there's a reason why Bama's dominated the sport for 18 years and sent 99 players to the NFL in that time or whatever it is.
Hoops.
Like. Yeah, like
and now Bama hoops.
Raw talent matters.
Bama hoops, man. Who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought that Bama, like saying Bama hoops would be like, oh, they're
Basketball
good.
School now.
Yeah.
They also hoard a lot of
Let's hope
players.
not.
So when you hoard a lot of players, they're not on the other teams to play against you.
It's a little harder to hoard players these days. In fact, Courtney Morgan just got the general manager, which I didn't realize how big of a deal general managers were now at the FBS level. Pretty much all schools across the FBS level do have general managers. They kind of, help out with the roster, recruiting, all of that good stuff. He just signed a deal, an extension for $845,000 a year. Prior to him, the highest paid with Bama. Yeah, he was at.
How did he need an extension if he just got hired?
Because USC was trying to lure him away.
So,
but okay.
You know how it goes, man.
I guess it's all about the Benjamins.
That means
He's
nothing
a heck
these
of a
days.
general manager.
Well, he was with DeBoer in Washington, I know, so that was probably one of those. It's just
he was with DeBoer at Fresno State for his first year. He was at Michigan in 2021. I think he did a little stint at USC, if I'm not mistaken, and then he was with Washington for his 2 years over there. And Trav came over here with him. USC wanted him because they're falling behind over there in California, so they were trying to pick back up. Well, yeah, I agree with you to a large extent. Yeah. So Courtney Morgan got $845,000. I believe it was Clemson's general manager was the highest paid prior to that. I
what
know,
does Clemson have a general manager for? They don't use the portal. They don't like NIL. What are they like?
That's shocking.
What is that guy doing?
Dabo, the hypocrite. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. $400,000. Hey, they don't get a lot in the transfer portal, but they don't lose very much at all to the transfer portal. So there is that. We'll see how it plays out. I think the ACC and the Big 12 are absolutely wide open this year. I'm a little bit more drawn to the Big 12 for some of those teams. I think from top to bottom.
Depth.
Yeah, well, not even just depth, but competition, right?
Who's going to finish like 4th or 5th in the ACC? They're so bad.
Could be.
Are.
I mean,
I like the mega conference. I think the Big Ten and SEC becoming mega conferences is just going to keep showing, especially in FSU not making the playoff. That's going to be reflected accordingly.
Does FSU miss the playoff this year?
No, they're in the ACC.
Yeah, but all right. So if the ACC is as bad as what you're saying, though, that means they only get one team in. So they have to win.
Well,
the
they might
ACC,
get two
right?
from just inflation. I mean, you just lose to FSU twice, and then you just. Oh man, got a tough road game against Boston College.
So how many teams do you think SEC Big Ten? How many teams do you think get in from those two conferences?
11.
I'd have to.
11.
I would be totally happy
serious,
with that.
dude.
Wait, so it can't even be that.
The most is what, 8?
Because 5 conference champions,
9,
5 conference champions, and then 7 at large. So
so
I guess 9 is in theory the most you could have,
and I'd be fine with that.
I'd put the number at 7 right now.
Yeah, speaking of, I had a closing today, and they were playing some college football bowls, and it was the Georgia game, and I saw it when Georgia made it 56-3. A great pass to the tight end.
Oh man!
I sent a picture to my group chat, and they're like, "Can you go back to Wisconsin?" I was like, "Oh, good football."
Oh man, are people as excited about college football up there in Wisconsin as what it was down here?
Yeah, Wisconsin.
They're hosting Bama this year. They're hosting Bama. Go ahead and answer. We're going to take a break and then we'll come right back.
Okay. Well, Wisconsin. I mean, hosting Bama. Yeah, everyone's going nuts. All my Wisconsin friends are pissed. We've never had to pay $250, $300 to go to Camp Randall.
Must be nice, I guess. I paid a lot more than that for some games.
Hey, $250, $300 to jump around in the fourth quarter when you could be jumping down or you could be down by a few. Who knows though? Wisconsin. Maybe Luke Fickell's got them ready to play this year. But you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Your Minute with Max coming up next. Hey, chat. Let me hear some questions for Max Delighten since we didn't prep too hard for today's show.
Take ESPN Northwest Florida with you everywhere you go.
Anytime, anyplace, anywhere.
The sports talk and live play-by-play doesn't have to end when you get out of the car. The ESPN Northwest Florida app streams your favorite sports talk hosts and the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity.
This is of utmost importance in travel.
Take the sports talk monster with you anywhere you go. Available for Android and iPhone.
Use it anywhere or any place. This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday afternoon. The rest of the day, sunshine and 91 with a gentle breeze coming out of the west at 10 miles per hour. For tonight, clear skies and a low near 77. Tomorrow, sunny much of the day, but with a possibility of thunderstorms in the evening and a high around 91. For Thursday, a likelihood of thunderstorms and a high of 90. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's here again, Toyota's national sales event. And this month at Panama City Toyota, you can get 1.99% APR plus 90 days until you make your first payment on the new Tundra. With its twin turbo engine and towing power, Tundra is ready to work hard and play even harder. Get style for miles in the all-new Camry, explore the great outdoors in a new RAV4, or discover the new totally redesigned Tacoma. See you soon at our national sales event.
Offer expires September 3rd. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose, hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
Kickoff on the Plains is coming.
15-10, Ford to the end zone. Touchdown, Peyton Ford.
Auburn football returns August 31st.
The kick is on the way. The season is underway.
Only on your home for the Tigers.
Auburn fans, we're bringing you every single game this season on the exclusive home for the Auburn Tigers on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
Chop on, Braves fans.
That is gone.
Since 2017, your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back, and this is your Minute with Max. I want to remind you guys that this is ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 here in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida is presenting Mosley Dolphin football. The season starts this Friday, August 23rd, 7 p.m. You can join myself and Kyle Wright as Mosley Dolphins take on the Rutherford Rams in the season opener, and we are your exclusive home for the Mosley Dolphins and high school football on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida. Go get you a little handheld radio. Man, cannot wait for the first game of the season. I think Coach Nuke Floyd has done a great job with Rutherford rebuilding that program. Coach Tommy Joe Whitten has got the Mosley Dolphins humming. They got LaCavian Jackson over there, who is committed to Mississippi State. Raiden Bruins committed to Rutgers. So they got some D1 talent on that squad, and should be a great season this year for the Dolphins. Can't wait for it right here, 7 p.m. this coming Friday for the first game of the season. We got a lot of great high school football games, and we'll highlight those here in the next segment. We've got some high school volleyball starting tonight as well, so we'll get you caught up on those games. No scores to this point, but this is your Minute with Max, and Max is with Allegiant Lending. Tell the people about what you do, how they can get a hold of you, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, 850-565.
All right, that was
no. Yeah, that's fair.
No. What's the number?
That's fine. 850-565-1160 or Allegiant Lending Firm. If you look us up, anything you're trying to do with a home purchase, we got you covered. Condos, you name it, we can do it all. We just don't touch land and mostly commercial.
You don't touch land?
No, there's too many hiccups and stuff, and just the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
The juice isn't worth the squeeze. I like that right there.
Yeah.
That could also be a good T-shirt right there. I could just imagine like a couple of lemons and like a hand and a squeeze. The juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
All right. So your Minute with Max. It's been a while since we've had you here in the studio.
Yeah.
And great to have you back. We do got a couple of questions for you here on Facebook if you want me to start. Let's start with this one because I have no idea what it means. I'm assuming that this is soccer because it's coming from Wright State Chris. Max, should Erling Haaland, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Be allowed to play for a better national team so the world gets a chance to watch him?
Man, I think about that a lot. If there were some, I actually do, because he's a top player.
Who does he play for? The Netherlands? No, because they are a top world team. Norway. So should he be allowed to play for the Dutch?
I would love for there to be like some ancestral background on him, and if he's not like 100% Norwegian, to be able to play for whoever that is, because
there you go.
I'm with him. Like, we're never going to get to see him play because Norway is just not a competitive sports country. So, yeah, that's a great question. It's kind of the same thing. Sweden is like okay, so we got to see Ibrahimovic kind of, and same with like Lewandowski. Like, Poland is okay, but we didn't really get to see some of those guys, and it kind of stinks because like international soccer can be some of the best stuff. I mean, I enjoyed personally at least watching Euro and Copa this summer, and I think that's a great question.
What team does he play for? Like in the Euros, does he play for like Barcelona or like anybody like that yet?
He plays for Holland. Plays for Man City.
Man City. So like, there's an opportunity.
Oh, he had that goal the other night that was on ESPN.
He looks like he's like straight out of like Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
like,
it's like 6'6", so like you can still see him. Yeah, he looks like a Viking, but I mean, like,
he's
Norse
6'4"
dude.
or whatever. Yeah, but he's a good soccer player, and I would love to see him play on a international scale. So I do really like that question, actually, and I have thought about that.
All right, and another question also from Wright State Chris, and again, you can send your questions to 850-215-6290, or you could join the chat. Just get on Facebook where we are streaming live. We're streaming live on YouTube as well, and I can get on there and see if we get any comments. But the next question is, how do you think Florida State would do if Florida State and IU switched schedules?
Yeah, that's a great question. I can pull up the Indiana
question.
football schedule right now. We'll get a quick rundown for you. Let's see what we got this year. Okay.
Let's see who we've got
All right.
this year.
FIU, okay, 1-0. Western Illinois, 2-0. UCLA on the road, a little scary, 3-0. Charlotte, 4-0. Maryland, 5-0. Northwestern, 6-0.
This is FSU playing IU schedule? Okay.
Yeah. I at Northwestern, 6-0. Might trip up a little since they were terrible against Pitt and stuff.
Okay.
But we'll give them 6-0. Home against Nebraska, 7-0. Washington, ooh, that's an interesting one. You know,
Washington lost so much of their roster, but they got Jed Fish over there.
They did.
At Washington?
At home.
Oh, okay.
So we'll give them the win.
Yeah, because Washington's got to travel a long way, yeah.
Michigan State, 9-0. And then they're going to lose to Michigan pretty easily. And then they're going to get... Well, they're hosting Michigan, but they're still going to lose. Like, do you think you think DJ is going to light up Michigan's defense? No.
I mean, the quarterback for Michigan is Alex Orji, I believe. That's going to be the starter this year.
The quarterback doesn't matter.
And do we trust Donovan Edwards to be the guy without? Because he kind of disappeared. Like his sophomore year, he was a great a big piece of the Michigan offense. And last year, kind of took a little bit of a backseat, even though him and Corum did combine for 32 total touchdowns last year.
Corum there, and
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that offense does that much on Michigan's defense. I mean, it's going to be a different identity in Michigan, but still, I'm going to say we're 9-1 right now.
All right, which is, I mean, to be 9-1 in the Big Ten is pretty impressive, right?
This is a much easier schedule now that we have the realignment.
Yeah.
So this is cool, but
or the unalignment, if you will.
Unalignment, yeah, the reorganization.
There you go.
At Ohio State. Blown out, lost by 30, and then Purdue.
Do you think Florida State would lose by 30?
No. I mean, they lost to Georgia by 60, so I don't know. They would lose by over 20 to Ohio State right now if they played 20? Right now. Like Ohio State is nasty.
Yeah, I agree with that because Ohio State is one of those teams. I think that when you look at what we know from last year, and we really don't know how Will Howard is going to be there at the helm, but I think the defense for Ohio State is just going to be disgusting. Ohio State and Georgia are like on their own playing field.
They're going to be playing pissed off football.
Yeah, they really
Ryan
are.
Day, I think,
Ryan Day
Harbaugh took his lunch money
and ran,
hang him from the flagpole, and
then transferred schools.
You go see him, man. Kind of like with Sharon, who you just lost to.
Yeah, there you go.
But then they'll beat Purdue, so 10-2, maybe getting that large in the playoffs, good for them. That's not a bad schedule, really. Like they could do well. And granted, we're just assuming they're not getting upset. Like they almost lost to like Pitt last year and other games where it was a little dicey. We had some fumbles, some bad play with better team. I don't know. I just think that Michigan and Ohio State are, signed, sealed, forget. That's a loss.
I think that Michigan Florida State, like if it was Michigan Florida, that would probably be a pretty ugly game on both. Like I think that would be one of those like 17-20 type. Like
I don't think a lot of points for FSU.
That's my concern. Honestly, my concern for Florida State is DJ Uiagalelei because the wide receiving core is nowhere near what it was last year for Florida State. I mean, you got
you lost Keon and Johnny, and you lost Trey Benson, and they're like, oh, we're gonna be fine. We replaced them all. It's like, okay. Slow down.
Dude, I think Trey Benson for the Arizona Cardinals might be one of those handcuffs in fantasy football to watch out for this year. But when back to you got Malik Benson transferring over there from Alabama. He might be your number one wide receiver. I'm really interested, obviously, in Roydell Williams, but also Cam Davis. So if they change kind of the identity of the offense and go more to a run first type ordeal, then I think Florida State could be okay. How's that offensive line going to be able to protect and create holes for the running game? So we'll see. And is the defense? I mean, they lost a lot of the defense to the NFL.
Yeah, and that's Cam with a K, right?
Yeah, Cam with a K. Yeah,
Cam Davis. I got you. There's a lot of Cam Davises in this world. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I think there's a lot to be said and a lot for them to prove, and they'll probably be playing pissed off football too because they think they got shafted and they've got something to prove. So we'll find out. Speaking of, I don't like to overreact all the time, but I'm overreacting. Caleb Williams in preseason, so sick. Like, I've never seen a Bears quarterback make any of those throws. So I'm going to go. People are like, oh, Mike White made it.
He was 6-13 in the last game.
Don't care. The last stretch, that throw to Rome where Rome was out because, they have the soccer line. So I was like, he gets a pass.
That's so sad when, that's the best quarterbacking you've ever seen.
I know, it's true.
I mean, y'all never had a 4,000-yard passer, right?
No, or I think 30-touchdown passer. Dude, we've had nothing.
Is Jay Cutler the best quarterback in Bears history?
Yeah, I just say
Sid
Jim
Luckman.
McMahon because he got the Sid Luckman. Great pull.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not because I think in the Bears, in my lifetime, I'm 28. So, I think I've gone through
Rex Grossman.
I've gone through over 100 quarterbacks.
Jim McMahon.
You want some polls? How about Craig Krenzel, Chad Hutchinson, Kyle Orton, if you said him, dude.
Oh, Kyle
Josh
Orton,
McCown.
man.
You had Captain Comeback, man, himself.
Yeah. Caleb Haney.
Jim Harbaugh.
Caleb Haney. Oh, man, that one was...
he was the third string. He's the only reason Aaron Rodgers has a ring. He had to play quarterback in the NFC Championship.
Kyle Orton.
Yeah, Kyle Orton was bad, dude.
We'll see.
Rex Grossman, terrible.
There's no doubt that Caleb Williams has got the talent, right?
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And he did show that on that throw to Rome. He's got the wheels. He's got everything that you need. Is he... If the Bears falling apart, let's say that, it's late in the game and they need... they're down by 2 touchdowns. Does he give up or does he will the Bears to a win? That's what's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I'm excited. I mean... I just have never seen that in a Bears uniform, so it's refreshing to see at least. And people are like, oh, Mike White made that throw in preseason too. No, Caleb's was in stride, hit the runner, great pass.
Yeah.
And I know this is also a little bit of an overreaction because it is preseason, so you can only buy into it so much. But
You've got a lot into it.
I have. We're missing 4 of our starting linemen though, and I think a lot of NFL scouts are saying this. It's not me personally. It's stuff I've read too. Not Bears beat people, just NFL in general. That Rome is one of the best route runners, and seeing him it's gonna be tough because we've got Keenan in the slot, and Keenan he's looking a little hefty out there. Yeah,
well, Eddie Lacy Jr. Right?
yeah. He's been eating the deep dish pizza in Chicago.
Yeah, there you go.
But DJ and Rome is a pretty nice duo on the outside. I think Rome is a very good number 2, and I think he could be the best rookie receiver. I think it's not out of question, but it's hard with the Bears offense to say that with.
I 100% agree with that. I think when you look across the board in the NFL right now at rookie wide receivers, I don't think that there's anyone who really separates themselves as cream of the crop because, of course, you got Marvin Harrison Jr., but then Malik Neighbors is my pick to kind of be that, but then who the heck?
You're handcuffed to Danny Dimes.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But he might have the most opportunity, though, him being basically the number 1 guy over there.
And if they're down all the time, then they're just going to throw that thing to Malik.
And then, devil's advocate, though, you could say he might have the least opportunity because he's their only weapon.
So they just triple team him. Come on, we know you're going to make a dumb pass or something like that. That pick 6 that Daniel Jones threw in preseason in his last game was just what are you doing?
I think we were all kind of scratching our heads when we got that contract. We were just Drake, what?
Yeah, no doubt.
You kind of had to give Daboll the benefit of the doubt because of what he had done with Josh Allen, and then even that one season, and it's okay if he's signing off on it, and then the injuries don't help, but it's not been nice.
It has not been pretty consistent. Now there was the injury last year, so and
hey, I'm not complaining right here,
right?
Being an Eagles fan, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah,
especially with them being NFC East there. So, Trevor Bagent, though he was 7 of 8 for more yards
Tyson
than
Bagent, baby.
Tyson Bagent. Yeah, there you go. I call him Trevor all the time.
I don't know.
Shepherd State University.
So have you not watched either of the Hard Knocks or no?
No, I haven't yet.
Because I know, like, if it's not your team, it's not as like.
I've never watched Hard Knocks.
Same, because just the Bears. I was like, Bears.
I would like. I mean, it's not that I'm like I don't watch Hard Knocks or anything. It's just one of those things that I hear about. You told me about it last Tuesday, and unless I go home and
clips on
like
Twitter.
do it right there, yeah.
Like, I mean, the cool thing too is like, I know like we watch them on TV and we see them zoomed in and like it's slow mo or whatever, but like some of their close ups of like the routes and like the coverage makes you like, you're like, dude, I gotta get in better shape. These guys are insane. Like Jalen Johnson's footwork, because he didn't get named a top 100 player, which is stupid. Whatever. I mean, he's obviously a top 100 player. He's top 2 corner in the league besides Sauce probably.
Well, he's not top 100 to the rest of the NFL, though.
Yeah.
How many players do you think vote on those things, though? Because they say it's by the NFL players. There's no way that all players voted on this.
They've got to get, like, the guys who are, like, you know, doing, like, the least. Like, they got to be getting, like, the special teams unit people, the line.
Harrison Bucker, line up.
Yeah, I don't know. But, like, he was saying, it was kind of impressive, too, because Keenan Allen's like, I've never been guarded by someone like this. He's like, he hasn't caught a pass on him in training camp still. So, which is probably alarming for Keenan.
Yeah.
But Jalen, it's just cool watching Jalen guard like DJ, Rome, anyone. He's just so locked down. It's just an impressive player.
I mean, I am excited for the Bears. I'm excited for the NFC North as a whole, though. Like the Lions bring a lot of hype. The Jordan loves. The Packers bring some hype as well.
Yeah.
You've got
the Vikings. It's bad.
I don't think so, man. I really don't. It's gonna come down to quarterback play.
Didn't
for
Addison
sure.
just get carted off in practice?
That's true.
Yeah,
and they didn't like.
And Hawk's gonna miss half the year.
They didn't pay Kirk, and I saw like their rankings for all their like other positions, and it's bad. They're like all like 20 to 27th in the league. Like,
we'll see though, man. I think that the Vikings could surprise people.
My Minnesota friends are just so depressed. Like, their one hope was Anthony Edwards to take them to the promised land that got murdered by the Mavs. But like the Twins have won like one playoff series in the past 20 years.
And what the Timberwolves were the first team to ever sweep a playoff series.
Yeah, like that is a cursed existence. Like sometimes I'm like, man, woe is me, Chicago sports, but Minnesota.
I don't know, man. I think I'd rather be a fan of Minnesota franchises.
Just because you're not going to win.
Well,
you get the Lynx.
Yeah, but there's
nice.
There you go. I mean, but there's just as having the expectations and then falling well short every single year.
I think Chicago's better off. I mean, they never had a pro franchise leave the city like Minnesota had the North Stars leave. And
Not
stuff
yet,
like that.
but look, who knows what's going to happen with old White Sox.
I mean, you got 2 teams there, so even if you had one leave, that's probably the reason why is because you shouldn't have 2 franchises in a city like Chicago.
Well, and if you did, like maybe not have
it's not big enough, man, for 2 franchises.
I would say it is, but it shouldn't be where I think geographically.
Like, look at like LA, man. Like you got the Angels that claim to be part of LA, but they're really Anaheim. You know what I'm saying? Which is like an hour and like half away. And I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Because like Wrigley and Guaranteed Rate are like 40 minutes or an hour away, but man, like you don't get off the L at where Guaranteed Rate is, you're not going to have a good time.
It's kind of like if you go to Atlanta, like you go to the Georgia Dome or whatever, and you get like a block or 2 away. You're like, oh wow, where am I at now?
Yeah, like no, seriously, if you get off one stop before or one stop after, I pray for you.
It's funny because one of the probably maybe 3 years ago or so, I went up to Atlanta and we just kind of started walking, and then I was like, oh, all right, this is. I found it doesn't matter where I go because growing up in St. Pete, that's kind of where I grew up at. So it does not matter where I go. I always find my way to those parts. And for me, it's kind of natural or whatever. Like, I don't want to say natural, but it's just like, I'm not over there like, oh my gosh. It's just like, treat people with respect and you'll be just fine. Don't look at people crazy and don't be uppity and stuff like that. And you should be fine.
Yeah.
And if people ask you for money, just say you ain't got none. Keep your wallet in your pocket because you pull it out, you might get got.
Yeah.
And you're better off.
Unfortunately, on the South Side, it's not that easy.
That's true, and I don't know about Chicago. You know what I mean? But
if you got off and you text me at like 7:30, and you're like, "Dude, I missed."
Do what I do,
right
man.
by a stop, I'd be like, "I pray for you, Dave."
Before you walk into a store, you got those guys hanging out in front trying to bum change or a cigarette. So before they have the opportunity to ask you, you ask them first because they don't have anything, and that just alleviates the situation right there, man. You just diffuse it right there. Boom. Hey man, you got some money? You got $1 I can hold? Hey, man, you got a smoke I can hold right there that don't got anything? You just walk right in, dude. Don't worry about it.
I would pay money for life hacks of Richard Marcus. Stuff like that.
I got you.
That is so funny, dude.
We need a book from Caveman Rick, all right? Starting off with the number one rule, how to kick a baby. Just drop that sucker.
Try it next time. You walk in the store, you see that unsavory person standing there, you know is going to ask you something like that. Ask him it first.
We're going to take a break, Max. You got more time. You got to roll. Hey, all right. You got to get to work. Hey, it's always...
Bryce Young will not be the guy.
Yeah, all right.
Or Joe Burrow.
Wait, who won't be the guy?
Bryce Young.
I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of people.
It's the Panthers and Joe Burrow. No, it's Cincinnati sports.
Oh, man. Coming from the Chicago guy. Well, we will see when we get into the NFL season, which is only about 16 days away. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We'll be right back.
America's team plays here.
And a rocket to right field. This thing is into orbit.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Acuna, Ozzie, and Austin Riley lead the Braves' high-powered offense.
Swung on, belted, deep right field. Get out of here, Ozzie. Home run. Ball game.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored by Brock's Pest Control. Store more portable buildings, reliable hydraulic solutions. Bill Bird Kia and Mid-South Lumber.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday afternoon. The rest of the day, sunshine and 91 with a gentle breeze coming out of the west at 10 miles per hour. For tonight, clear skies and a low near 77. Tomorrow, sunny much of the day, but with a possibility of thunderstorms in the evening and a high around 91. For Thursday, a likelihood of thunderstorms and a high of 90. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been your portable building specialist since 1989. Before you invest your hard-earned money someplace else, owner Jason Mulder invites you to stop by Bestway and get a quote on just about any size building. And whether you buy with Bestway or not, it's worth the trip just to meet Bestway Buddy. Say hello, buddy. Good boy. Bestway Portable Buildings, just north of Harts Marine on 231, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. The best in portable, period. Tell them Buddy sent ya.
The mission?
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Save the panhandle from boring cookie-cutter radio. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
The state will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Life hacks with Caveman Rick. What do you do when someone comes and asks you for money? You just beat them to the punch and ask them first, especially if they happen to be an unsavory person. My goodness gracious. 850-215-6290. Call or text us. Man, we've got a lot going on today, and we are your official station for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Yeah, I'm solutions oriented, man. Come to me with all your problems. I'll solve them for you for a nominal fee.
What does that fee stand at?
It just depends on what kind of solution you're asking about, man. You know?
Depends on how hard he's got to think about it.
Yeah, you know, like every answer is going to be a little different. I'm just saying, you know, I'll charge appropriately.
Charge appropriately. We've got, so Caveman Rick is starting up his LLC. It's going to be called Oriented Solutions LLC.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Oriented Solutions. That's
I'm sure Solutions Oriented is already taken.
Solutions Oriented Worldwide.
Worldwide. That reminds me of Step Brothers.
Exactly right.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida, brought to you by Brock's Pest Control. Store more portable buildings. Bill Bird Kia, Mid-South Lumber, PCB Hobby. And welcome to the Braves family, Hewitt Tire and Auto. All right, let's get into it. You know what? We've had this trivia question on for a while. So for $25 to Swampy Jack's Wongo's Adventures, I believe they're still open for at least the remainder of this month. They've got amusement rides, mini golf, go-karts. Great place to go take the family. Go check them out. So for that, $25 to Swampy Jack's, Wongo's Adventures, and also $25 to not but that boot store. So $50 prize package here. What was Virginia Tech's team name before they settled on the Hokies? Do you know this?
No, I don't think so, actually.
I was doing like a little, not even research, I was just searching up trivia questions the other day, and because of their team name, I was like, oh, I gotta ask that question. I had never heard of a team named after this particular animal, which actually, to some extent, it's still tied in
Relevant.
with the same animal. So Virginia Tech, what was Virginia Tech's team name before they settled on the Hokies? 850-215-6290. All right. I want to pick the games with the spread in the next segment.
All right.
And we've got 4 games coming up this weekend, or coming up this Saturday, and then we've got, then we kind of get into the full swing of things. Next weekend is just going to be great, man. Sunday night, you got football on Sunday night, then Boston College and Florida State on Labor Day. What is it, USC and LSU, I believe,
on Sunday night. Yeah, over there in playing in Vegas, I believe, right over Allegiant Stadium. So that's going to be...
I'm excited about that game, bro.
It's gonna. I think that one should be a really fun game.
What's one of the games that you're looking forward to the most from week 1?
I think
just off the top of your head.
This may be the cop-out answer because I think it's got a lot of hype around it, but the A&M Notre Dame game.
Okay, well, I'll go to a different direction because that's the one.
Game day's there, so I feel like that maybe that's the cop-out. But what does A&M look like with Elko instead of Fisher? What does Riley Leonard look like over there in Notre Dame? Notre Dame's got a good manageable schedule. They're probably a lot to make the playoff if they go 10-2. Are they a legitimate threat this year, or they're just going to be Notre Dame that makes it and nobody's actually really going to pick them to make it all? So I think that's going to be a fun one.
Those 2 losses would be, but depending on who those 2 losses are against, could keep them out of the playoffs.
That's fair. Right? I mean, because their schedule isn't super difficult. So if they lose the wrong 2, or honestly 2 at all, it's going to be tough.
Let's go over to Ken, play a little trivia. Ken, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. How are you doing on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon?
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Hey, great to have you on the line with us. What was Virginia Tech's team name before they settled on the Hokies?
Was it the Chappies?
They might have had that before, but right before.
Or the Gobblers?
That's the one I'm looking for. The Fighting Gobblers. Yes, sir, man.
Yes, sir.
A little history on that. One story claims it came from the way student athletes would gobble up their food. The name was already popular when Floyd Meade, who was a local resident, trained a large turkey to pull a cart at a football game in 1913. Throughout the years, trained turkeys would continue to gobble on command and perform stunts. In 1962, a student raised $200 for a costume. The result was an unusual turkey with a cardinal-like head known as the Gobbler, and then the Fighting Gobbler. When the Gobbler nickname fell out of favor, student George Willis sketched new designs for a class project. The updated mascot appeared at a football game in September 1981. The current Hokie Bird, which conveys power and strength, debuted in September of 1987. And back in the day as well, students who dress as the Hokie Bird remain anonymous. Actually, this might be still to this day. Students who dress as the Hokie Bird remain anonymous until graduation, when they reveal their secret by wearing Hokie Bird feet during the procession into Lane Stadium. So, Ken, thanks so much for playing some trivia with us. Who's your college football team?
My college football team? I'm going to have to say the Hurricanes, because I used to live in Miami, so I'm from Connecticut, but I like the Hurricanes. So.
Is your NFL team the Patriots then?
No, Cowboys.
Oh, man. All right, give us some background. How'd that happen, Ken?
I grew up as a young boy. My brother was a Cowboy fan, so I kind of got thrown into the mix at an early age, and I just liked them ever since, man. Same with the Yankees.
So you like the Yankees as well?
Yeah, man. I called last week. I won the tickets to the Braves game last week.
Yeah. I got you. I got you. All right, so with the Cowboys, man, what are we thinking about this year? Do they win the NFC East?
Oh God, I'm gonna say the Eagles, bro. I'm to be honest with you.
That's a smart man.
I think the Eagles are going to win it, but Cowboys slip into the playoffs as a wild card, so we'll go there.
There we go. Ken, my man, thanks so much for giving us a call, and just stay on the line real quick. Caveman Rick will get the rest of your information, and we'll see you soon to pick up your prize package.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, 850-215-6290. We've already got our trivia winner, but you guys feel free to give us a call and chat some football with us. So Notre Dame, all right, 10-2. Let's say they go 10-2 because we never did pick their schedule, which is maybe one of those things that we should have done, being that they're kind of an ACC team as it is. But
join the conference, then we'll pick their schedule.
Do you think that they have an opportunity to? Do you think that they can go undefeated?
100%. I mean, I think that their three big games, I think, are like USC, Florida State, and they get Florida State at the house in November, which could, the elements there could play a factor for them. And I want to say they have one, and A&M, obviously, week one, that's going to be.
See, I think A&M gets them right there in week one.
They definitely could. I mean, but I think that's going to be three of their toughest games. I guess going into week one, I err on the side of the team with the established head coach coming back.
Okay, fair.
That's typically my safe guessing there. I don't know what the spread looks like now. It's probably not a game I'd touch a whole lot, very much opening weekend anyway. But but the problem is, I think Notre Dame, they could go 10-2, maybe not deserve to be a playoff team, but could kind of just win the war of attrition and other teams going 9-3 or 8-4 and just end up riding kind of the wave up the polls and making it in as like a 9 or 10 seed at that point.
A&M by 2.5 is what they got it at right now.
Okay, so it's basically a coin flip because they typically get 3 points for home field. So
so to an extent, if this game was in Notre Dame, then you could see it being a 4-point spread.
Yeah, it'd be. So that sounds about right. They don't. It's just hard to know exactly how Elko's going to come out looking game one. I mean, they obviously Duke last year had a great game one against Dabo and Clemson in Duke, and so that was he's shown he can kind of prepare for these type of bigger games. So how much can he bring to A&M? How quickly?
Is Notre Dame in better hands with Riley Leonard than what they were under Sam Hartman? Because last year I felt like Notre Dame kind of dropped some games that that maybe they shouldn't have lost.
I think he may fit what they want to do because they were especially last year. Estime was kind of the feature of their offense running it, and I think Riley Leonard accents that because he does have a little bit more of that mobility. I don't think you want Sam Hartman running it 8 times a game, but I think you can do that with Riley Leonard. So maybe it is just much more read option, a lot of RPO, and then Hartman came from the kind of an odd system in Wake, which was very successful for him and them there, and I just don't think he ever fully meshed with Notre Dame being a little bit more traditional that way. And like I said, he had great moments, like the game against Navy, they looked solid, and then like you said, they lost some games they shouldn't. Never really peaked with him, and then he ended up opting out of the bowl game or opting out of the last game of the season, which was weird for a guy who wasn't going to be a very high draft pick.
Sam Hartman?
Sam Hartman.
I thought he played in the bowl game.
I'm pretty sure he opted out of the bowl game. I could be wrong.
I thought that he played in it.
Or did he opt out of the combine? He opted out of something weird towards the end of the season or in the draft season, and it was kind of that's kind of an odd move for maybe it was the Senior Bowl, but it was kind of odd.
No, he didn't play.
Okay, yeah, okay. It was I remember thinking this is not a guy being talked about as a top 5 quarterback. Why is he opting out of the bowl? I mean, maybe he just had enough of college football at that point. I don't know.
And Notre Dame still did whoop Oregon State in that game 40-8. Yeah, I mean, the schedule, I guess people are saying that it's tough, but it seems like to me, outside of Florida State, USC, which
is hit or miss.
Exactly. USC they're gonna end the season with them, but you look at the rest of it. It's all right. Texas A&M, yes, tough. Mm-hmm. Then it's Northern Illinois. It's on the road against Purdue. I can't even say that that's hit or miss.
Yeah,
right.
That should be a dub.
Miami of Ohio,
dub.
Louisville. Could be hit or miss. I'll give you that
last year.
Exactly.
What does Brom and Louisville look like year 2? So, I mean, that's a toss-up game for them.
Stanford?
That should be a dub.
Georgia Tech?
Probably should be a dub.
We'll wait to give a stronger answer on that after Saturday. Yeah. How about that?
We'll know this, 3 o'clock this Saturday. So
Navy?
Should be a W.
They beat them 42-3 last year in Ireland. Florida State?
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
Tough game, no doubt. Virginia?
Probably should beat them.
Yeah,
quarterback, their coach going to the year on the hot seat. So
Army
should beat Army.
All right, so really you see we'll play some spades here. 2 and a possible. Yeah. 2 and a possible. USC being the possible. And no, you know
I
what?
would give them 3 and a possible.
3 and a possible, right? Because of Louisville, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I agree with you there, and I'll say that because of the mobility of Riley Leonard, that's what maybe makes them a little bit more dangerous this year. And I don't know, have they, what kind of additions they've got at wide receiver. So we'll see that. Who was the tight end? That was it Mayer? Max Mayer?
Michael Mayer 2 years ago or whatever it was. 2
years ago.
I'm sure I feel like they've had tight ends for as long as I could remember, even going back to Eifert and whatever else. They've had some bigger names coming out there, but and like I said, I'm sure they'll be a very solid team, very manageable schedule. But it's a team that I think we're going to get to the end of the year. They're going to be like a 10th, 11th seed maybe, and then we're looking at as like, does anybody really think they're going to end up beating whether it's Oregon or a Bama or a Texas? And it's going to be like, nah, probably not.
So I mean, they got Antonio Carter. It looks like, no, he went to Jacksonville State. So now he left Notre Dame to go to Jacksonville State. So
then an estimate went to the NFL. I can't remember where he landed, but he was a day 3 pick, I believe. So I mean, they're replacing a good bit, but it's still Notre Dame. I feel like they kind of just get to 9-3, 10-2, no matter what, because a lot of their schedule is fairly easy, and they're going to get the hype from the media, and they're going to, like I said, they'll sneak their way into the playoff. I think. Yeah. If I had to bet money today, it'd probably be.
My thing is, all right, how many years are we going to go in this college football playoff? Let's just say Notre Dame goes 10-2. Let's say they go better than that, go 12-0, and they just get waxed in the playoff. Did you heard what A.J. McCarron said about that Notre Dame team?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He said, like, they had Manny Te'o and they had a couple of other great players, but as a whole, the team was weak. And then Te'o was on
came out and said like they were scared, basically.
Yeah, Good Morning Football. It's like, yeah, we saw DJ Fluker and Chance Warback, and they had their shirts, up around underneath their shoulder pads, and their bellies were hanging out. And it was like, I just looked behind me at the rest of the guys, and I just knew we were in for a long day. I appreciate
they sit on that field. They can tell when there's that kind of athletic difference, and we saw it all night long. But
yeah, man. So my thing is, how many college football playoffs do we sit here at 12 teams? And if Notre Dame gets in because of their independence, and they find themselves into the playoffs 3 years consecutively, but each year they just get whooped. Do you think that trend continues to happen? Not the getting whooped in the playoff, but the fact that they get let in if they continue to prove that they don't do well in these big time games.
I mean, I guess at that point, like if the group of 5 team gets whooped 5 years in a row, are you going to keep letting them in?
That's a good point too, though.
I mean, because I'm all for it.
It's 2 years. No, but 2 years, right? And then they're going to a 14 team.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they could change their mind then.
They probably will. I hate to say it because every year is different, but I mean, at a certain point, like, hey, if they're kind of coasting off an easier schedule and they're making it in, and there's like, what's the point? Like, we're putting them in there, but they're not adding really anything to the playoff at that point. But I mean, at the same time, like, what happens if Oklahoma gets in 2 years in a row and gets smoked? Are you going to be like, oh, well, Oklahoma doesn't deserve? Yeah,
absolutely.
It's fair to say that about any. Well, I mean, it's fair to say that about any team. I don't think.
Yeah, but there's a trend though with Notre Dame that goes further back. What other school can you sit there and say that about though? You see.
I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong. I'm just saying I don't think you'll ever actually see it.
Yeah, no,
I think, because like I said, I think they can win the war of attrition with their schedule because you're talking 3 or 3.5 tough games as opposed to So all they have to do is not drop 3 of them. Well, they probably make it.
I do hope that Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame are worth it. You know what I mean? Like that they get in and even I don't care about the losing. Just don't get beat by 3 touchdowns. Don't get destroyed, as you said. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Quick timeout. We're going to be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida is your touchdown headquarters for the Mosley Dolphins and the Auburn Tigers.
Touchdown, Auburn!
Plus, premier college and NFL games. Your source for the most live football on the Gulf Coast in a rich audio experience.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Tuesday's weather. Tonight there will be a light breeze out of the north-northwest, clear skies and 76. Sunshine tomorrow morning, the same at 87. In the afternoon and evening, mostly sunny and a gentle breeze right around 9 miles per hour with a high of 91. About the same at 87 Thursday, and we'll have mostly sunshine in the early morning, but otherwise likely thunderstorms. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
That Cajun Place is your LSU and Saints football headquarters. Saints and LSU fans, wear your team colors and score a free Jell-O shot when your team scores a touchdown. Only at that Cajun Place. Get $5 pitchers on select draft beers during all live football games. Catch all the games at once with the NFL package on 27 large TVs at that Cajun Place. And the best wings on the beach. The locals' favorite, that Cajun Place.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
WGSX Lynn Haven, W Field Q, Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The battle for the East continues to heat up, and your Atlanta Braves are battling back and looking for some big wins.
Adam Duvall up at the plate with 2 down, and he swings and hits one deep to left field. That's going to fly on back. That's going to fly on out of here.
Tonight, Austin Riley and the Braves are back in town for a huge NL East matchup against Bryce Harper and the division-leading Phillies.
Braves coverage begins at 6 after the Afternoon Underdogs, right here on your home for the Braves, ESPN Northwest Florida.
In your face.
Questionable calls all over the NFL this year.
On the field.
Quantify, to put a value on momentum, you can't do that.
And in your radio.
Hashtag NFL Rig.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and this is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. We are your home for the Auburn Tigers, and this is hour number 2 on a Tuesday with Tyler Bishop. We also have Caveman Rick. I'm David Hayes, and again, the Afternoon Underdogs. We're streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. You can like and share the Facebook feed. We would appreciate that. And also join the chat, man. It's always fun reading off the comments. So Kyle Albritton says, "Get off my lawn." I think he's referring to us talking about Notre Dame.
I mean, Notre Dame's the most unique football program just because they do have, they're independent. They're one of the few schools that have made it work for a long time, have their own TV deal with NBC. And so, like, they get a lot of hate because they're always publicized. But, like, I saw a thing the other day, and it showed, like, Notre Dame had actually finished above their preseason ranking, like, 4 of the last 6 years. So it's not so much that they're really overhyped. They're kind of about right. It's just a lot of their academics and stuff just, they don't. It's why Brian Kelly left.
Yeah,
and so like I did
that to go be with his family. And, but hasn't worked out so well.
And I get why people dislike Notre Dame, but I mean it's not really their fault.
And it's not that I necessarily dislike Notre Dame, because I think that just like Miami, just like Florida, just like Florida State, Michigan, like when those schools are doing better, I feel like college football is in a better place.
Yeah, no, I mean it's fun, and because those kind of schools do get like the hype, so it's fun to see Cinderellas because they get a certain type of hype, but when you see like the old school, it's a lot of fun.
Atlanta Braves right here on ESPN Northwest Florida tonight, and the coverage starts at 6 o'clock. First pitch tonight at 6:20. Reynaldo Lopez off of the injured list. He'll be going up against Zach Wheeler for the Phillies. We do got some volleyball going on tonight. Weewa hosting Liberty County tonight at 5 p.m. Looks like Weewa's already 3-0 to this point in the season. Fort Walton Beach hosting Niceville at 6. Looks like all of these games except for 2 of them are at 6 o'clock. Freeport hosting Vernon tonight. Bluntstown will host North Bay Haven. Rocky Bayou Christian hosting Cottondale. Bay host Walton. Laurel Hill hosting Pensacola Christian. Chipley hosting Holmes County. Franklin County hosting Rickards. And Rutherford host Port St. Joe. Kyle Albritton says, stop adding teams. Participation trophies for everyone was saying that first, meaning like, he's saying stop adding participation trophies for every team. So that's why he said, get off my lawn. I am with that. Got a lot of great high school football on. We'll highlight some of those games today at 5:40. What top 10 team do you think finishes unranked?
Oh, man, I saw this earlier, and I was kind of looking at it, and like I think it'd be hard for most of the teams. I think Michigan is an interesting answer. Just with so much turnover, so much, they could lose to Texas, they could lose to Ohio State, I'm kind of Oregon. But I don't even know if Wisconsin, or if they lost to like a Washington or somebody else, they'd have to go probably 7-5 to finish unranked, and I just don't know if they've got 5 losses on their schedule. I kind of feel like Florida State, a lot of overturn, but they'd have to lose all their toss-up games, and 1 or 2, it's kind of the same thing. They'd probably have to get to 7-5.
Alabama's got a good chance too to finish outside of the top 10 because they're one
outside of the top 10. Yeah, unranked. Bama would have to go. Again, Bama does have some interesting games at Wisconsin, Georgia, Tennessee on the road, LSU on the road, Oklahoma on the road, Missouri, Auburn. They do have some games that if things get bad, they could get really bad. I just don't think they're going to get that bad, and I'm gonna go on a limb and say no team in the top 10 finished unranked. For the first time in however many years it was.
There you go. What about Penn State? Well, do you think that they finish higher or lower than 8th, which is where they're at right now?
Man. I know. Because the thing, their schedule sets up so easy. They lose Michigan lower. And they get
You're going to say
Oregon.
Lower?
Yeah, just because of the ilk that the SEC already has and some other other schools around them, in that same stratosphere that are going to get the benefit of the doubt above a Penn State right now just because of the track record they might have had the last handful of years.
So I think there's a better chance. They may finish at 8th or better, but they may be lower than the 8th seed because there may be a conference champion or 2 behind them if they were to make the playoff. So I think that if you're talking seed, I'm going to go lower. But I'm going to say they finished just lower, but it's probably 9.
All right.
Because their schedule is nice.
Ole Miss, do they finish higher or lower than 6?
Lower.
Lower than 6.
Lower, for sure.
Yeah, what's their chances? Because, you got
lower is in a higher number, 8th, 9th, 10th, or lower is
higher, worse. Worse than 6.
Okay,
worse than 6.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point.
Bama, sitting at 5.
I'm going to say...
Better or worse?
I'm going to say worse.
Worse?
I'm going to say not by much, but I think it's going to end up being 7.
So they still make the college football playoff?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I've had Georgia, Texas, Bama, and Ole Miss.
See, I think those are the teams that are going to get the benefit of the doubt. They're going to probably finish higher in most people's eyes, like the Bamas of the world, and stuff like that. That are going to get that extra boost, if you will, from the voters, the whoever prognosticators are going to put them up. I just think it's easier.
I'll say with Bama. And this is the other thing. Are we talking, when I'm asking this question, am I asking final poll or the poll after the conference championship games?
I'm saying going into the playoff. Was where my thought.
Yeah, that's where I like that.
And like I said, I think I had Bama at 10-2. They could still be 5th, but I could see them at 6 at that point. There's just a lot more room to be under than up at that point.
Any undefeated team in college football, FBS,
all the way through the playoff, the whole.
Let's just go heading into regular season and conference championship.
I'm gonna say yeah.
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 Georgia being the one.
If I gotta guess somebody, they've got a few tough games. The schedule sets up kind of nice in the way some of those are spread out. But I'll take the Dogs to go undefeated.
All right. I'm not mad at that. I don't think that we have any. I don't think any team.
I think it'd be great if everybody had an L. At least one L.
Yeah.
I think that's, obviously significantly more likely.
That's essentially what it was last year, right? Because even though Florida State finished undefeated, they did take an L and I'm not even talking about the bowl game. I think that the big L was not making it into the CFP.
I'm not going to sit here today and say my Dogs are going to lose a game if I don't have to.
There you go. Ohio State, Oregon. Which team do you think ends up winning the Big Ten in that one? I got Oregon winning.
I've got Oregon beating them in Austin, but I've got Ohio State winning the rematch, and I think they play in Indy for the Big Ten. So I've got Ohio State winning the rematch.
There you go.
Why was Jordan Travis out again? I can't remember. Was it a leg?
Yeah,
that is the L. That's your L right there, the leg.
Man,
he still isn't playing in preseason. Right. He's still recovering from it. So
they say it could be a little bit more time too before he's able to get out there and play. Man, that was a tough injury.
He seemed like a really good guy. You never want to see anybody hurt, but hopefully he does well. And learning from Aaron Rodgers, there'll be some fun stuff for there.
LSU Jeff says that Notre Dame is not making the playoffs with a 9-3 record this year. I totally agree.
I think 9-3 for sure.
Aaron Rodgers isn't going to. He's not going to mentor anybody. By the way, he's already basically said that with Jordan Love. I think he's there to start and play. He's not there to babysit. And
I think it's different when you're 40, 41 versus 35, and you still think you got 5 good years.
I feel you. And he's coming back from that injury. I think his playing now is I don't care about the dude sitting behind me. It's
I don't think he's going to be hey, let me go out and be your teacher. Like, I don't think he's going to grab him, hey, man, watch me do this. But I think he'd be willing to, like...
If someone's asking questions...
But yeah, I think if somebody wants to come pick his brain, I think he'd be willing to at least...
That's fair maybe there, but I don't think he's going to go out his way is my whole point.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that he has to this year because it's Tyrod Taylor behind him, and Tyrod Taylor is...
he's a pretty savvy vet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good spot for Jordan Travis. At the point, you got two really nice vets to learn from that have been around the league for a long time.
I've never heard of their four-string quarterback, Andrew Peasley.
You got me there.
I don't know either.
I consider myself pretty well versed, but you got me there.
Undrafted free agent.
Let's see what he was. Oh, he went to Wyoming, and he is a rookie. I don't know if he was. I would assume that he was. If he's a rookie, he had to have been an undrafted free agent. Hey, but he's thrown for 106 yards and a touchdown in preseason.
Josh Allen went to Wyoming, right?
Yeah, he sure enough did.
There you go.
They probably call him Josh Allen Jr. up there. Or something.
Josh Allen Jr. Oh, Judge, man. I'm just so excited. Let's pick some of these games then here, and in the next segment, we'll do a little ceiling floor take. We'll go through the top 25 and look at what we think to be their ceiling record is and what to be their floor record is here. David Hayes, Tyler Bishop, Caveman Rick. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Taking your calls and text 850-215-6290. All right, the games for this Saturday. Let me get out of the top 25 and into the FBS 1A. Obviously, starting it off with the number 10 team in the land, Florida State, taking on Georgia Tech. The spread down to 11, minus 11, which has moved from, I think, last week when we were talking was at 13.5. Florida State's way might have been 12.5.
I think it was 12.5.
I think, and then the next day might have dropped a little bit more there. So minus 11 for Florida State. The total's kind of high, sitting at 55.5. So expect some high scoring if Vegas is correct on this.
33-22.
Yeah, somewhere around. I think I know Cliff said 34-20. I got 34-20. I'm going to stick with that 34-20. I think that it's like a 17-13 game possibly going into the half. Georgia Tech scores one in the third, and then Florida State kind of shuts them out in the fourth quarter, gets them a couple of scores in the second half to win that game 34-20. But the question is, Florida State, do they cover, or who wins this game? And but we're using the spread. We're using the spread here for these ones, and this isn't going on our records.
And it's 11. Can we make it like 11? Either 10.5 or 11.
You need a hook.
Since it's at 11. Do we want to go 10.5 or do we want to go 11.5? What makes you feel more confident? Like, all right, so if I say 10.5, where do you go?
Well, I've got it at 11. Like, I was thinking of going into the segment. My mind was like, it was
so here's what I'm going to do.
So he said 11.
So
even.
It's a push. It's a push.
I'm saying 11.5 then.
Then I'll go under.
All right, so you got.
I got 11 on the dot.
So you're going Georgia Tech then?
I'll take Georgia Tech with the spread.
This is what I'm going to tell you what's probably going to end up happening. By the time this game kicks off, it's going to be down another half a point to a point because of betting. So whatever you're saying right now isn't really going to matter. I think it's going to be less than that. It's already come down a couple points because of the betting. I think.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because we're taking the spread's 11.5.
So. No, I hear you. I'm just still saying, like, if you were sitting at that 11-point, spread and you were thinking about that, I'm just thinking it'll change. Give it another probably couple of days.
Oh yeah.
I'll say that Florida State does not cover. Even though they win, though.
So you got Georgia Tech with the points.
Yeah, closer game with Georgia Tech.
31-20 is where my mind was at, and that would be what Georgia Tech covers in the unders.
I hate to say this because then, sound like Max throwing shade, but I'd like to see the upset. I'd like to see Georgia Tech win.
Man, I'm so, indecisive on that just because as an afternoon underdog, I think we all pull for the upsets across the board unless it's our team there. But I got a lot of friends that are Florida State fans, and all that they went through last year, if they start off the year with a loss, their heads are going to be hanging.
But imagine how fun the whole season will be after that, man.
Well, and can you imagine, though, being a Florida State fan, you've been talking all year about how you should have been in the playoff, and then you come out and lose to Georgia Tech week 1.
Ugh.
Then
that would be
it's totally different.
And then you're the only team basically that played, so nobody's talking about anything else besides you until Wednesday or Thursday, and then you start talking about the next week. I don't want to root for Georgia Tech to win at anything, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, because what'd you say earlier? This is the two little brothers game.
Yeah, but
I would say Florida State's a big brother now, right?
No, for sure. I was just joking around, but. Like I said, I don't want to root for Georgia Tech to win anything, but I've got a few Florida State buddies that I wouldn't mind busting their chops a little bit if they were to drop that one. So,
All right, well, good luck picking on this next one. Montana State and New Mexico. Who do we like there, the Bobcats or the Lobos? Montana State is a 11.5-point favorite in this game.
Montana State over New Mexico?
Give me the Lobos, yo. I like the name. I used to have a remote control car called the Lobo. That was dope.
And New Mexico's at the house.
It's New Mexico. Yeah, New Mexico.
All right, you got New Mexico to stick within 11.5.
Yeah, man, I got to win straight up. Win straight up.
All right, money line, but we still.
Yeah, I know.
We don't pay nothing. But
I hear you.
I'm gonna go. I actually had this whole thing as you were talking about how Barry Odom was the new head coach and he was gonna come out there, but that's UNLV, not New Mexico. So that really took all my analysis out the window. So give me Montana State. I'll take the favorite at that point. I mean, it's Montana State. If they're favored over New Mexico, it's for good reason.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Montana State existed.
You never heard about Montana State? They had that one coach, man.
I may have heard of him in passing.
How is Montana State? This can't be right. Because if you look at the matchup predictor, according to ESPN Analytics, New Mexico is a 68.2% of.
But that's based on the FBI, and the ESPN FBI is questionable. Since we're an ESPN affiliate, I won't dog it too much. It's a very questionable at best service.
Well, Montana State is in the Big Sky Conference, man. Like that's. I don't know.
Well, my side doesn't even have that game.
I got the Wolves.
Yeah, you got to go to FBS 1A. I know. We know you got New Mexico.
No, I'm just still saying, man. Like thinking about it, just
And you've got. You're gonna roll.
I'm gonna roll
Montana
State. Let's roll. I got nothing to lose at that point.
I'm gonna go New Mexico because I'm getting points, and I think that they are. There's something fishy about this spread. New Mexico, like being at the house.
If it's fishy, that's when you know Vegas knows something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So I'm gonna go with Montana State and New Mexico. I'm going New Mexico plus the 11.5, and you've got them minus 11.5. So we'll move on to the next game on the slate. That game again, Montana State and New Mexico is going to be at 3:00 this Saturday. Then we move to 7:00. I mean, it's kind of like an NFL window, if you will, where none of the games are going to be overlapping here. 7 p.m. this Saturday is going to be SMU and Nevada. SMU, 25.5-point favorite in this game, and they are on the road. Total sitting at 56.5. So what do you got there? SMU covering the 25.5, or do you like the Wolfpack?
I'm going to take SMU. I think for SMU, this is a good chance. I mean, I know Nevada's not a quality opponent by any means, but it gives you a chance being in prime time, nobody watching anything but y'all. This is kind of a chance to show, like, hey, we're going to be a contender in the ACC. And I think if they can win by more, like, they're not going to hold back. So I think if they can, they're going to, and I'm going to say they do.
Caveman?
Yeah, Pony Express, baby. I think they're going to roll, dude. I think they score points. They win.
They may cover the over by themselves, honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. I'm going to take SMU as well there. I've got some high hopes for them this year, and so if you don't, not that you got to cover 25.5, but we need to see you put up a lot of points, and let's see how that defense plays out as well. And then the final game on the slate, I don't think I've ever seen Hawaii be this big of a favorite. And they are playing in Hawaii. Delaware State is heading towards Hawaii, and Hawaii is a minus 39. We'll put the hook there. Minus 39.5 for Hawaii, who are taking on the Delaware State Hornets, which I took a guess at what their team mascot was yesterday. We didn't look it up or anything, and I didn't see the logo. James just described it, and so he said it kind of looks like a wasp. So I was like, oh, it might be the Hornets, and that's exactly what they are. So what do you got here, guys?
I mean, Delaware State would have probably been better off playing in Dublin, probably closer than traveling all the way to Hawaii.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they've got Timmy Chang over there in Hawaii, former quarterback from like the June Jones, like early 2000s, kind of nostalgic for our age, kind of growing up watching college football. If you were nuts like I was back in the day, give me Hawaii covering 39.5. Why not? Like, if we're gonna go big, we might as well. If we're gonna go, we might as well go big with it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it's Delaware, dude. I mean, Hawaii is actually kind of, it's a prominent place. People actually want to go there. It's Hawaii, it's a location to go to school. Nobody wants to go to Delaware. I mean, the only place people that go there is like they go to vacation at the beach, right? So, and like you were saying about the travel, it's got to be ridiculous for those kids to go from Delaware all the way to
They're
Hawaii.
probably already there.
And you know what?
They should be.
The kids that are there, they've probably never been to Hawaii. They're probably more having a good time and seeing about the sights and doing all that kind of thing if they can, other than practicing and focusing on the game. Give me Hawaii.
You know what, boys? I'm going to go with the first state ever
in the union.
This here
in
union?
the union.
Yeah,
in this here union. That's a great. In this here union. They are, an FCS team, so the favor definitely lies with Hawaii. They missed their flight.
Already off to a big stop right there. There you go.
Can I double down on my prediction?
There you go.
They missed their flight, so that's golly. This is just a little bit ago. This is 4 hours ago that they missed their flight. I don't care though. I'm doubling down. 39.5. It's an HBCU squad as well. Give me Delaware State to stick within 39.5. And with that, we're gonna take a quick timeout. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Give us a call, 850-215-6290. We're going to play a little ceiling floor game with a top 25 when we get back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're the radio home of the Mosley Dolphins.
We're going under the lights this Friday night as the Mosley Dolphins kick off the season versus the Rutherford Rams. Listen to David and Kyle for live play-by-play from Tommy Oliver Stadium. Coverage starts at 6:45. Mosley Dolphin football is sponsored by Panama City Toyota, Orthopedic Specialists, Chapman Wealth Management, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Tuesday's weather. Tonight there will be a light breeze out of the north-northwest, clear skies and 76. Sunshine tomorrow morning, the same at 87. In the afternoon and evening, mostly sunny and a gentle breeze right around 9 miles per hour with a high of 91. About the same at 87 Thursday, and we'll have mostly sunshine in the early morning, but otherwise likely thunderstorms. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Mike Atkinson. For the last 16 years, you've trusted my leadership at the Walton County Sheriff's Office. In that time, UCR crime rates have dropped 67%. That's no coincidence. You can count on me to serve with continued professionalism and provide the excellent hometown service you want. At our agency, excellence matters, as our law enforcement, fire rescue, and animal services are the first on scene. On Tuesday, August 20th, vote to re-elect Atkinson for Walton County Sheriff.
Paid for by Michael Atkinson Jr., Republican for Sheriff.
Now back to the most dangerous afternoon show on terrestrial radio.
It's dangerous.
It's illegal in 5 states. The Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 here in Panama City. Your home for the Auburn Tigers, the Mosley Dolphins, and the Atlanta Braves. And the Atlanta Braves are sponsored by Panama City Toyota, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Ellis Agency Insurance, Best Way Portable Buildings, and by Hewitt Tire and Auto. And the Braves got the Phillies tonight cover starting right after the Afternoon Underdogs at 6 o'clock. We've got a first pitch of 6:20. Reynaldo Lopez on the bump for the Braves.
Chop off Zach Wheeler for the Phillies.
There you go. So, Delaware State. Hopefully they, get to Hawaii on. I mean, they still got plenty of time,
Today's Tuesday, so yeah.
Today's Tuesday, so it would have been nice for them to get there. It's a 10.5-hour flight. So,
I mean, the time zone difference going to end up being, 7-ish hours probably for them?
There's that as well. Yeah. And the game isn't till 11 o'clock at night on Saturday. Our time,
3 a.m. Delaware State time. So, yeah. Can I hammer Hawaii anymore than I already did?
No, I don't think you can, but I think I'm going to get on the old Hard Rock app, and I'm going to take Delaware State, bro. I'm going to hammer that one. Which, I mean, you don't really get, if you do money line, then I'm sure I would love to see what they are money line right now. I got to check on Hard Rock.
It'd have to be
what do you think? Give me a guesstimation.
I'm going to say at least 50 to 1.
I'm wondering if they even have it.
Probably not. If you're a 6-touchdown underdog, essentially 5.5, like that's got to be just ridiculous. I don't even know if anybody would bet on it anyway. So
they don't got it.
Yes.
They just skipped right on over it, man. They do got Florida State money line minus 450, Georgia Tech plus 325.
It's not terrible.
There's a little bit of value there, right?
Not terrible value. Like I said, I think that I definitely think that game is one that's interesting going into the third quarter.
Dog, Montana State minus 450 money line.
What?
Like, daggum.
New Mexico, what is wrong with you? Like,
dude, I've got to do some research on that because I'm just not understanding what in the world is going on. Now, SMU minus 2,500 makes plenty of sense. Yeah. Nevada plus 1,000. I don't think that they've got very much of a opportunity. Now, you did say that you really like SMU maybe getting the over by themselves. Plus 100. Plus 100 for over, which is at 57.5. ESPN bet had it at 56.5. I don't know, man.
They got the under at minus 125. They're thinking that they're going to hit the under. So, I mean, like.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow, that's interesting.
I know. So there might be a little bit of value there because normally with over and unders, you're not getting a plus.
No, it's
like minus 115, minus 105. Yeah, somewhere around there. And Nevada or the under in that SMU Nevada game is minus 125. So interesting, man. I love this little Hard Rock app. I just like putting together little small parlays and whatnot. But yeah. So I'm not finding Delaware State, and I think the reason for that. But isn't Montana State? Did they move up to FBS? Because I believe that Montana State is FCS as well.
Yeah, they are.
And so if they are,
and you're a 2-score underdog to a FCS, like man, New Mexico. I mean, granted, it's not like New Mexico's ever been known as a football school by any means, but still, there's a difference between down and being that far down.
Yeah, they're FCS for sure. So, no, that's Montana, the Grizzlies. But I would imagine Montana State is, they're FCS because that's the Big Sky Conference. And they had that one coach, man. I can't remember his name, but he has got some great sound bites. And he used to be in the NAIA back in the day. And if Coach Siegel was listening, he would absolutely text in and know off the top of his head. Austin Siegel used to talk about him as well. Can't think of him. Maybe even Kyle Albritton would know exactly who I'm talking about, but he's got some great sound bites, and I'll find those later and I'll share them with you because it was funny stuff. But let's dive into some ceilings and floors here of the top 25. Well, one of the other things, all right, so we were going through the conferences. You've got a little trifecta bet going with 3 certain teams. We won't even dive into it so we don't jinx you, okay?
Yeah.
But so we're kind of mulling it over. All right, Big 12, competitive from top to bottom. I think that you could throw in maybe 5 to 6 teams who could possibly win, like in reality, on paper right now, win the Big 12, right? Like Kansas State, Oklahoma State. I think UCF you could throw in there. Utah you could throw in there.
I think so. 4 for sure.
4 is fair to say, and I think that if we're looking. There might be another team or two, like Texas Tech. We don't know a lot about, so
like a team like a Texas Tech or West Virginia could kind of sneak.
West Virginia, I feel like West Virginia is a fair team to throw in there. ACC, Florida State, Clemson,
Miami.
Do we throw Miami? I think you have to throw Miami in there right now.
You have to.
And then a lot of love has been given to North Carolina State
and Virginia Tech.
As far as that
someone's
got Kyron Long to win the Heisman.
As far as like that next tier, like Virginia Tech and NC State are definitely.
Maybe.
I think you have to give them a little bit of hope based on what we saw last year from Brom. And I mean, typically year 2 is the big year. So we kind of saw against Florida State, they didn't really have it in the line of scrimmage. They didn't have it in some other spots that they were able to kind of navigate the rest of their schedule with. But I wouldn't love taking them against Florida State or Clemson more than likely with the line of scrimmage that they have.
But we agree that it's kind of like more than a 2-horse race, even though it feels like it right now. Like there's a little bit more attached to the chariot, if you will. Then you go to the SEC, Georgia, Alabama,
Texas,
Ole Miss,
for sure. Saw one that had Tennessee playing in the SEC championship game today, or somebody making a prediction about it.
Who were the quarterbacks? We were talking about quarterbacks in the NIL last week. I can't remember who exactly it was. But there were two, Carson Beck, I believe, and there was another well-known quarterback, and they were only making like $1 or $2 million. And I can't remember because there was a quarterback who said he wanted this much to play. But that's not the point here. What I'm bringing up is Nico Iamaleava, $8 million. I believe is
allegedly.
Allegedly. All right. So
most of the NIL stuff is allegedly, and typically, especially like for the high school kids, it's like that's what their max payout is over like 3 or 4 years.
There you go.
It's not a yearly thing either. So, and again, unless you see the contract for any NIL,
when are we ever going to see any of those contracts?
Well, the Jaden Rashada one came out with the whole Florida thing.
Yeah,
that's
because of the lawsuit.
That did show 13 million or whatever it was. But like I said, I always take a lot of these NIL numbers with a grain of salt.
Not hearing great things about what he's got going on.
About what?
Jaden Rashada?
Oh, I mean,
like, it just doesn't seem like he's as good as what he was supposed to be.
I don't know. I mean, he's a guy.
You've heard different things?
I've heard different things.
Okay.
I mean, not that I don't think he's not pushing for even the number 2 job this year, but he's behind a guy who's been on campus for 3 springs now.
Yeah.
And he's been on campus for 2 months. So, I mean, definitely see the athleticism, the potential, but I don't think he's going to end up starting for Georgia at any point.
Oh, I forgot that he's over there with y'all. So, oh man, y'all just take all the leftovers, don't y'all?
Man, keep him from going somewhere else. Like I said, if I was betting money today, he probably never starts for Georgia.
Never starts for Georgia. So that's kind of aligning with.
But I'm not saying he was doing poorly. I just think I think we've got some special talent coming up behind Carson Beck.
So he never hit the transfer portal out of Florida, but he did hit it. So he goes to Arizona State and then transfers out of there. So do you think that he's on the Georgia roster come this time next year?
Probably, because I don't think Kirby will name a starter. Like, I think he'll kind of play the game out, and like you got to do your own gamesmanship. Like the players do it with the portal and NIL. Coaches got to do a little bit on the. So I think there's not an official starter named until this time next year for Georgia.
Cal Albritton says he's Tate Martell without the high school accolades.
Maybe he's still got a chance to prove himself. Tate Martell's already gone. So
there you go. And then the Big Ten, Ohio State, Oregon.
If anybody besides those two win it,
is it Penn State?
I would not bet any amount of money for any amount of odds for anybody besides those two to win it.
So is it like as deep as the Big Ten is? They're kind of the closest conference there is to a actual 2-horse race.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think if Harbaugh was still back at Michigan, I think you'd have to put him.
That changes everything, right?
But I mean, with the turnover,
he would be dealing with a suspension.
Oh yeah, that's a whole different thing there. But I mean, like the turnover Michigan has, I have no confidence in them to win the conference. I'm not saying they won't be competitive, but if it's anybody besides Ohio State or Oregon winning it, like I mean, I just can't. It's not gonna be Penn State. Penn State has proven time and time again that they're very good. They beat the teams they should, and they lose to the teams they should. Like, and that's fine, but that's just who you are.
Yeah.
And I don't even mean that again. I have nothing against Penn State. It's just what we've seen time and time again now.
Kind of the what was the comparison last year? Ole Miss.
Yeah, and they ended up playing. That was a solid game.
Yeah.
Michigan would have to be super surprising. USC would have to be extraordinarily surprising. UCLA is unfathomable.
I mean, they're from
Washington,
Los Angeles, bro.
That's about all I know. I mean, like maybe a team like Wisconsin.
What about Matt
Nebraska?
Rule in Nebraska?
You'd have to
Dylan Raiola over there.
You'd have to see huge year 2 jumps from either of those schools to. I mean, Iowa. I'll believe that.
Let's say Wisconsin beats Alabama at the house.
Ooh,
does that put them in the
in the running
at
that point?
Right.
I mean, we'll see.
Does that say more about all right? Alabama's having growing pains because Kalen DeBoer and everything, or does it speak more to Luke Fickell? Having Wisconsin ready to go.
I think the narrative, if Bama goes up to Cat Marino and loses, the narrative coming out of that game will be, look at what Bama is without Saban.
Yeah.
Wisconsin will get credit, but not the credit they probably deserve until, especially the 2 weeks later they'll play Georgia. And if Bama were to beat Georgia at that point, then all of a sudden it's like, oh hey, maybe Wisconsin's that good.
Yeah.
But if they lose to Georgia and then they lose like 1 or 2 more, and it's like, okay, that was an 8-4 Bama team that y'all beat. That's the problem, and I kind of feel bad for Wisconsin because I don't think they're going to get the credit they probably deserve.
Right.
If they were to win, I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah, they're in a bad spot.
But it's one of those like they'll get, oh hey, awesome, great job, but you didn't beat Saban. This is not Saban Bama. We don't even know what this Bama team is. So
I don't even
congrats.
think it's that. I think it's going to be like you said. Fickell's been there for a while. They've got a lot more continuity than Alabama with the new head coach.
This is Fickell's second year.
Still, you got more of a plan, and you know what I'm saying. If you're just starting out like Bama is. That's a good excuse. I mean, a lot of changeover, blah, blah, blah. You got a plan in place.
That could be a really fun week 3, upset bet.
And on the road?
That money line will probably be not a bad. I could see that, or that's going to be the upset pick of the week, and it's bet way down, and there's a lot of value on Bama at that point.
I'm trying to find a wedding to go to on October 12th.
I know a guy.
You do? You really?
I actually do.
Oh man,
I do. It's funny. I sent that in a group chat, and I was like, "Oh man, could you imagine me?" And then I looked at my fridge, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's got the same date."
Are you going?
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, the beauty of it, though, and I get it because my buddy 2 years ago, and one of my best friends of all time, he got married on rivalry week, Alabama Auburn.
So he's not a sports guy, I take it.
He's a big Florida State fan. He's a big Florida State fan. They actually go to games and baseball games and stuff like that together all the time. I think what helped them make that decision was that particular year, Florida State and Florida played on Black Friday. So it didn't really affect them as much. I mean, so I'm sitting there at the wedding, and they know I'm such a big sports guy and everything. So I'm like watching the wedding and then like boom, down on my phone, trying to keep up with all the games. So that's the beauty of it is you can go to the weddings and you can still keep up with everything.
Yeah, so my brother Tho, he actually got married on like the cupcake game before rivalry weekend.
There you go.
And we were playing like UMass or somebody like that, and I still give him crap for it. So
yeah,
it's okay.
See, my thing is with the college football playoff, and again, like if I don't know you or if I'm not like great friends with you and you invite me to your wedding, I'm like, that's a no for me, dog. But if don't do nothing during the college football playoffs, though. I don't even care if Alabama's not in it. Like, I ain't missing.
Luckily, I don't think like January weddings in Florida are super popular.
That's true. I mean, I would say that January weddings in Florida might be more popular than they are anywhere else in the country.
But there's probably a lot more indoor venues up north.
Yeah.
Like out in Florida, you get so much stuff that's outdoors, trying to take advantage of the weather and the scenery and everything else. That there's not as much.
When was Max's wedding? I went to Max's wedding. It was
3-ish months ago.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't too long ago. Well, but it was cold though, dog. It was cold. It was cold at his wedding, man. Because it was like right there at that time. And wait, it might not. No, it was decent. It was windy as all get out there. It was a beautiful wedding, man, and great stuff there celebrating Victoria and Max delighting. All right, so let's see here. So we've got Big Ten as a 2-horse race essentially.
I think it's probably the least interesting of the conference champion race,
which is wild,
which is weird to say.
Yeah.
But I don't think you couldn't convince me, I don't think, that any of the other teams are going to win it.
What would you say is the most interesting conference when it comes to their conference championship? For me, I'm going to go Big 12.
Yeah, Big 12's going to be fun because there's nobody right now that you feel, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting money on anybody in the Big 12.
If I think Oklahoma State would be, for me, just because of what they're bringing back and then having Ollie Gordon over there as well.
I get it. I just don't know if I'd feel super the odds would have to be, pretty favorable for me to but like the ACC, I would feel okay betting money on FSU right now.
Yeah.
Like I'd feel decent bet money on Georgia. And if you didn't, I wouldn't disagree with you. But I think there's somebody in the SEC you probably feel okay bet money on. Most people would.
The only team that I would feel comfortable betting money on in the SEC would be Georgia. Georgia would be the only team that Ohio State might be in. And again, I don't even have Ohio State winning the Big Ten, but Ohio State and Georgia would be the only team that I would feel comfortable betting money on to win the national championship. But again, I don't know what they got at the quarterback side. I mean, I know who the quarterback is, but we just don't know how Will Howard's going to fit into that role. But I believe in their defense for sure.
Do you think Ohio State makes the playoff? Is Will Howard their starter? Do you think Will Howard starts in the playoff for him? Or do you think they end up swapping him out mid-year?
So if it's not Will Howard, is it Julian Sayin?
That would be my guess.
Man, I would be ferociously mad if it's Julian Sayin, Caleb Downs, and Quinshon Judkins leading the daggum Buckeye. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That would kill me, man.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Ohio State loses to Oregon in Oregon. Will Howard has not been Howard has a McCord maybe performance up to that point for the season, like nothing special.
Luke McCord went to Syracuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that he does not end up starting they make the playoff and he's not the starting quarterback.
All right, that's my hot take. But he's the one that leads them to the playoff, though.
Well, I mean, they play week 7-ish, week 8. So I think one of the freshmen ends up, I'll say comes in, navigates them the rest of the way, and they end up making the playoffs.
Okay, so that's what I was saying is like Will Howard gets them all the way to the conference championship.
He's
and
not,
it's just
they make the playoff, but he's not the starter when they get there.
Gotcha.
That's my bold hot take of the day.
See, I just don't know because there had to be a reason why Julian Sand left Bama to go to Ohio State when it's the same situation for him. Did he feel better about maybe beating out or getting an opportunity this year at Ohio State compared to he knew what the situation was with Jalen Milroe?
I think ironically part of it was probably the Bill O'Brien connection because he probably knew him from his time at Bama.
Go to Boston College, Julian.
And then he was going to be the OC, and then he goes to Ohio State, and now Bill O'Brien goes up. I mean, I'm not saying that had a significant point, but I think that definitely helped things for him.
Let's see. Big 12 odds, right? You got Utah plus 300, Kansas State plus 350. Then you pretty much drop off Oklahoma State plus 700, UCF plus 900, and then Iowa State at plus 1,000. So I would say. So
is Iowa State, what, fourth in betting or is it fifth?
Fifth. Right behind UCF.
Who's right below Iowa?
Kansas. Kansas is at plus 900, so technically speaking, they're above Iowa State.
I would have been kind of surprised if Iowa State was a top 5 betting odds for the Big 12.
West Virginia at plus 1,800. Arizona, it's kind of surprising that Arizona is still, like, they're at plus 1,000. Isn't that kind of surprising? I'd much rather bet Arizona.
I mean, they've still got a great quarterback and wide receiver coming back. But I'd probably rather bet Arizona than Iowa State.
I feel
the same value there.
Iowa State is more of like one of those teams that you just don't want to have on your schedule because they might upset you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to have success throughout the year and like finish up
for an extended,
10-2.
Yeah, I'm not like they're like kind of like what Purdue's been at times. Like they catch up and they get you, but they still end up like 7-5.
I think one of the best values on here, and I'm only saying it because this guy's going to be. Well, you're really excited about Houston with Willie Fritz, right?
Yeah, not this year, but I think their future going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this guy is coaching for his job. Dave Aranda and the Baylor Bears are at plus 6,000. So maybe could be that, like, here, I'll throw $1 to win.
Yeah. I mean, there's some value there, but, man, I thought that was going to be a hire that panned out a lot better than it did.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And so he's definitely on the hot seat, and we are on the move. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back and try to get into these ceilings and floors. If not, we'll do them next year. You're right, I'm the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're the radio home of the Mosley Dolphins.
We're going under the lights this Friday night as the Mosley Dolphins kick off the season versus the Rutherford Rams. Listen to David and Kyle for live play-by-play from Tommy Oliver Stadium. Coverage starts at 6:45. Mosley Dolphin football is sponsored by Panama City Toyota, Orthopedic Specialists, Chapman Wealth Management, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located 2241 East Baldwin Road. Hey, we got the back-to-school sales on now through the end of August. Make sure you come see me. We can build that shed if you need to customize it. If not, we've got them in stock. RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, 2241 East Baldwin Road, Panama City.
Kickoff on the Plains is coming.
15-10, Ford to the end zone. Touchdown, Peyton Ford.
Auburn football returns August 31st.
The kick is on the way. The season is underway.
Only on your home for the Tigers.
Auburn fans, we're bringing you every single game this season on the exclusive home for the Auburn Tigers on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Make it so.
104.3
Yeah. We are back. It's the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida on the frequencies of 104.3 right here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop and Caveman Rick. We're your home for the Auburn Tigers, and August 31st, they've got Alabama A&M. Kickoff on the Plains, man. You ain't going to miss a single touchdown, no sacks, no interceptions this year here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We do have a few opportunities to sponsor quarters on Mosley Dolphin football. If you'd like to have your business advertised on the Mosley Dolphin football broadcast, then you can contact me, David Hayes, right here at 850-215-6290, and we'll get you set up. Time is running out here, and we've got a pretty good deal on those games as well, and being that I run the broadcast, you will get your money's worth throughout those quarters. There's no doubt about that. North Bay Haven wrestler Bear Siegel. This is a little bit of an old story, but, things are happening fast here. He was selected to represent the United States on the 17U national wrestling team, and that's going to be over there in Bahrain. Cool. There's more than 40 nations and 26 sports competing at the International School Sports Federation Games in Bahrain. Just 60 athletes representing the U.S. in wrestling, and 3 of those will be in Siegel's weight and age bracket. He's going to participate in workshops and activities. He's going to study different languages, cultures, and history on top of wrestling. Wrestling coaches across Bay County are stepping up to help train Siegel ahead of the World Games. And this is going to be October 19th. He's going to leave to go to Max's hometown of Chicago. He's going to head to a training camp up there. Then he's going to fly to Qatar and then to Bahrain, and he'll be back to the United States on Halloween, October 31st. To help support Siegel's fundraising goal, you can mail a check to Andy Siegel or put Bear Team USA in the memo, or you can send that to 114 Redfish Way, Panama City, Florida 32404. So you can mail a check to Andy Siegel, put Bear Team USA in the memo, and send that to 114 Redfish Way, Panama City, Florida 32404. You can also Venmo at Andrew-Siegel-2. Bear Siegel is also available to do appearances for companies in commercials due to the new NIL deals right here in Florida.
So that's like the good side of NIL, though.
Right.
Being able to do that kind of stuff, that's pretty deep.
I can't wait to see that stuff really start taking off and see some of these athletes, standing outside of a dealership, making commercials and whatnot. Hey, I'm David Hayes, a senior at whatever school.
I guess, I hope that those guys get their money's worth on those advertising deals on both sides. And
I think that it's going to be one of those things that is more so to help the kid out.
Oh, yeah.
But also the company can get a little kickback from it as well, because I'll tell you one thing, man, you here with the station, if we've got youth athletes on the show, we're going to get more views, we're going to get more clicks and stuff, more so than if we've got me. You, me, really any of us, because all of those parents kind of flock to it and stuff, and so it's great stuff. And I think that is an awesome opportunity here for the youth in our area. I just don't want to see it just make one school the powerhouse, or 2 schools are the powerhouse, and then every other school kind of suffers, because that even playing field is more fun to watch. Even though these schools are in different classes, I like the even playing field.
No, for sure. I mean, like you said, NIL gets a lot of bad hate. If NIL was done appropriately, it's great for all those involved. The problem is that's not what we have, and that's where it's got a bad name too. But like I said, for local kids, local businesses, it can be an awesome tool. So hopefully that's what we see more in our community. Obviously, can't help a whole lot with the college football.
There you go. Well, this Friday, you've got Bay and Arnold at 7 p.m. That's going to be over there at Gavlack Stadium. We're talking high school football right here. Mosley is going to be the away team versus Rutherford at Tommy Oliver, and that game will be at 7 p.m. You can listen to that one right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 7 p.m. for the kickoff there. You got Mariana hosting Walton. Sneeds is going to be hosting Cottondale. Weewa hosting LPCA. Bozeman gets their season started against Holmes County. North Bay Haven's going to be hosting Freeport. Vernon is hosting Jay. Weewa hosting Graceville. Niceville hosting South Sumter. Wakulla is hosting Port St. Joe. Snook Christian Academy is going to be hosting Rocky Bayou Christian Academy. And then Franklin County will be on the road against Bronson. So a lot of great high school football in this area. Can't wait for it, man. There's nothing like this time. Now, the only thing that I'm waiting on is to be able to wake up and smell that crisp fall air. Even though, it don't last until about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Then it's the hottest again. Then it's summer again.
Yeah, exactly. But that little smell, you know what I mean? Where it's like, if I hurry, I could build a fire. Oh, man. All right, ceilings and floors. You want to dive into that? We'll do a few schools here. Let's start with Georgia, right? Like, what is the floor for Georgia?
I think if you're being realistic, 3, probably 9-3.
9-3? I like that.
Clemson.
ESPN's got it at 8-4.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, I guess Clemson, Bama, Texas, and Ole Miss.
It doesn't say exactly which losses that it's got.
Tennessee, I guess, is up there as a team that, in theory, could beat Georgia. I mean, even though Heupel's offense has not shown it can do anything against a Kirby Smart defense. But if you told me that happened, I mean, we can call 8-4, but I think 9-3 is a more realistic floor. I'm
with you on that. I would say 9-3 too being the floor. Obviously, the ceiling is easy at undefeated. Yeah, no doubt. Ohio State, same thing. Ceiling. Undefeated. What would you say their floor is?
I'm trying to look at their schedule kind of around you there. I mean,
there you go.
I guess in theory they could lose to Oregon and Penn State and Michigan. I think it's highly unlikely, but I'd probably put theirs at 9-3 also.
If they lose to Michigan, let's say let's say they lose to Oregon and Autzen, and then
lose to Michigan.
Yeah, Ryan Day gone. Let's say they win. They'd
have to probably win the national title at that point.
Win the national title. All right. Let's say that they're undefeated until Michigan. They lose to Michigan. Do they still got to win the national title?
Do they win the Big Ten at that point?
Yeah. Let's say they do.
Then he's probably okay. He probably still need to make it. But I think
that if you lose to Michigan, you either win the Big Ten. If you don't win the Big Ten, you get into the college football playoff. You've got to at least win one game. Yeah. You got at least one game in the college football playoff. I think with
this record, or with the roster that he's been given, paid for, whatever, the coaching staff he's gotten everything he's wanted, if he was to lose 2 regular season games and not win a national title, it would not be good for Ryan Day.
There you go. Well, let's go. Oregon. What do you got Oregon's floor for?
Theirs is probably similar, probably 9-3. I mean, they could lose to Ohio State. I think
this is the first year that Oregon's ever made it up on our little schedule over here.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, especially because those are the teams we're talking about. But actually, it may even be 10-2. I mean, they could lose to Wisconsin, Ohio State, and I guess maybe they could drop another one, maybe like Michigan or something. So probably 9-3. I think that's probably a pretty safe bet for a lot of these upper tier teams.
I do like how he's got the home teams in green and then the away games in red. That's
very, very festive Christmas.
Yeah, no doubt. We're talking about how it's Christmas, and there you go. So shout out to Wildcat, aka Smitty, for getting that done. I agree with the floor of 9-3. I think it's
kind of getting repetitive, but I think it's a fair floor.
I mean, that's why I was about to dive away from.
See, I think Bama's is maybe like 8-4. If we want to,
they got there. ESPN's got it at 7-5. Ooh. 7-5. I think you could have some outrage.
I mean, I guess it's. I mean, Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma, Auburn. I mean, and that's
that's not even counting Camp Randall, Wisconsin,
or Missouri. I mean, I guess that. Yeah, it's probably
Georgia. No way, South Carolina. So we'll go Georgia, Tennessee.
In Rocky Top. LSU and Baton Rouge.
We'll give Missouri the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Oklahoma in Oklahoma.
I think 7-5 is fair. Could you? Dude, if
Alabama goes 7-5,
what about 6-6?
Does he make it to year 2?
Dog, I don't know, man. Well, but here's the benefit. It's a totally different situation. But Nick Saban in his first year went 7-6.
Yeah, but he wasn't walking into the best program in the last 20 years either.
You know, that's what I'm saying. It's a totally different situation. But if you do that, and then you just gave Courtney Morgan $845,000 to keep this roster intact, they've got the most California recruits that they've had for 2025. They've got the most that they've had in the last 5 seasons combined, with 5 kids from California alone. They've got the number 2 recruiting class right now heading into 2025
and I mean,
on 24/7 Sports.
It would probably also depend, like, if they're getting blown out in these games too, but if they're losing on like last second field goals on 5 of these, I think that's a little bit different.
If they go like 6-6, Harvey Updike might poison Kalen DeBoer and kill him like a tree.
I mean, like, honestly though, if they were to go like 7-5, I can't imagine he would be sitting on a grill at that point if he's not 5.
But I mean, like,
there's no way that happens. But
I don't think so either. But like, how spoiled would like the Bama fan base have to be that if your guy went like say 7-6 and they just absolutely like lose their minds? You know what I mean? It's kind of
go ahead.
Well, the problem is you brought this guy in here and like the roster's too good. Their roster is better than everybody on their schedule besides Georgia. They've got a more talented roster. Like, so if this guy is worth his weight in anything and he goes worse than like 8-4, I mean, I think even 8-4 is going to put him on the hot seat because of this roster should be that good, and he's supposed to be this guy.
I just think a lot of other teams, a lot of other schools have come up, you know what I'm saying? And we're like, Alabama's kind of come down, and they're all kind of like a lot more parity, a lot more even now, you know, than they were like, say, a year or two ago.
I think there's some truth to that, you know, to an extent. Like, definitely that other teams have come up. I don't know how much, you know, Bama's dropped necessarily. But Kalen DeBoer's won everywhere that he's been at. And so if he's on the hot seat in year 2, I think you're going ahead and starting the daggum like the 90s all over again.
He hasn't
like,
been at a place though that has this much pressure.
No.
Like in Washington.
100%.
Like I mean, like there's other teams, there's other stuff going on, but like Alabama, this is the pro team of the state of Alabama. This is all Alabama has to hang their hat on, dude.
Yeah, no,
it's Bama football.
If he goes noodling catfish,
if he goes 8-4 or worse, his seat is going to be very. And like I said, I'm thinking like I think the legitimate floor is 9-3. If I was saying, but it could get worse.
There you go, man. We're out of time. We'll do one more. How about the floor for? Let's do Florida State. Floor for Florida State.
I would say probably 8-4, 7-5. I mean, Miami, Notre Dame, SMU, Georgia Tech, week 1, Florida, week 13, game 12, whatever. I think those are all very worst case scenario, but are all losable games for him.
ESPN's got it at 6-6. That's going to do it for us today. Tyler, as always, great to have you in on a Tuesday. We might have to just add you for another day during college football season, my man. You guys riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and we are out for today. The Braves are coming up next. Reynaldo Lopez versus Zach Wheeler. Hopefully, the Braves can get a win against the Philadelphia Phillies. First pitch tonight, 6:20. Y'all take care. Be safe out there. Just remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.
ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for Mike Greenberg.
The CD Lamb of it all. He's going to get hurt. He will show up the week before the first game. Oh, you know what? We're going to have him on the